Okay, so hi everyone. Today this video I'm doing the Addmaths paper for paper 2 Sabah. Okay, last video I did Sabah paper 1, right, for Addmaths. Now this video I'm doing paper 2. Okay, so let's start. Okay, this is question number 1. Okay, let's read the question. Diagram 1 shows a graph function of fx equals to x squared minus 6 in domain x between 0 and 10. This is the symbol for in between. Okay, what is domain? Domain means x, okay, or you can say the object, right? The object. Okay, so domain means x-axis. Okay, they say this is the fx, x squared minus 6 minus, x squared minus 6, and the domain is from 0 to 10. It means the x coordinate of paling kiri punya point is 0 and paling kanan is 10. So this is the paling kiri punya point, this is the paling kanan punya point. So paling kiri punya point will be 0 and then paling kanan punya point is 10. So the x coordinate of the paling kanan punya 10 is 10. It means the x coordinate for it is 10, right? Then what about the y coordinate? I don't know, right? But I can find actually. Just take the 10, substitute inside, then you'll get the y coordinate, right? So what if they say range of fx? What if they write like this? It means this would be the range for paling bawah until paling atas punya y coordinate if dia bagi range of fx. Alright, so let's say they give you like, let's say negative 2, 10 macam tu. It means the paling bawah punya point punya y coordinate is negative 2 and then paling atas punya point punya y coordinate is 10. Y coordinate because fx is y, right? But if they give you x, it means x coordinate, but it's for paling kiri and paling kanan punya lah. Alright, let's find out the y coordinate here, even though they never asked me, right? So just put it in, just put the 10 inside this equation. 10 squared will be 100, 100 minus 6, 94, right? It means y equals to 94, right? It means if I tarik satu line here, this will be 94, right? It means this point is 1094 lah. Okay, A says sketch the graph of f inverse x. And if I look at the answer space, they got provide me this answer space so I can sketch here. So how do we sketch f inverse x? Okay, you need to know something. The fx curve and the f inverse curve will be reflection of each other. Okay, they will be a reflection of each other on this line, right? And what do we call this line? This line we call it y equals x, right? It means what I need to do now is draw the reflection line, right? So let's draw a line now, okay? And then the line should be exactly 45 degree, but they don't have square grid here, so you can just lebih kurang saja lah. Okay, can you tell me what does it mean by y equals x? It means this line will passes through 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10. And if you look at this point, it's actually 1094, right? This point here, right here, is 1094. So definitely 1010 will be a bit down and a bit to the left, right? So actually this line have to somehow be like, let's make it nice. Maybe something like that, right? Yeah, lebih kurang. Okay. So okay lah, I think up a bit because it has to be 45 degree. But this one is just sketching question, so it doesn't have to be perfect one. Okay. Okay, let's make it like this. Okay, I think this is good enough. But make sure it got passes through. Make sure this line got passes through 0, 0. Okay, and the equation of this line is y equals x. Okay, now what I do is I will do reflection of this line, right? Because I want to draw f inverse, right? So fx is this. Then what will be the f inverse? Okay, this point, this line, when it reflects, it will go like this. Like this. Do you agree? This line, when it reflect, it will get like this. And then what about this line? It will look like this, right? So something like this, okay? But what will be the coordinate of this point and this point? Okay, let me tell you. When you do F inverse, what you are doing is you will terbalikkan the object and image, right? Because if I give you something like this, when the object is 10, the image is 94, and then I tell you the function here is F. Then if my arrow is going terbalik in reverse, then what is this? This is F inverse, right? It means F inverse is actually what? You will terbalikkan your object and image, which means you are actually reversing the x coordinate and the y coordinate. Means you just, if 1094, when you do F inverse, it will become 9410. It means the x coordinate and the y coordinate will terbalik. So what do you think will be this point? It will be 9410, right? Why is it? Because 1094, when you reflect, when you do F inverse, yeah, it will be reversed. It means this is 9410. And then what do you think it will be this point? Okay, what is this point? First of all, can we find this point? Let's go back to the diagram. Can we find this point? The answer is yes, because this is actually the y-intercept of the curve, right? And we all know this, the x-coordinate is 0 here. So what we can do is take the 0, substitute inside this equation. It will be 0 squared minus 6, which is -6. And then terbalik kan, because when we do inverse, it means you are terbalik your object and image. It means 0, -6 become -6, 0 now. So this is 0, -6, but the new one is -6, 0. Right? So this will be your point. And let's label this also 0, -6. Right? So I hope you know which one is the F inverse. The one yang saya lukis, right? That one is the F inverse. Okay, so let's erase all these lines here. Okay, so if you do like this, you will get 2 marks, right? And obviously they will intersect here, lah, right? Okay, now we will do soalan B. Soalan B says, find the coordinates of point of intersection of both graph fx and F inverse. Okay, which one is the fx? This one. Which one is the F inverse? This one. And what is the point of intersection? The one I circle here. This one is the point of intersection, right? So what we do now, if you want to find point of intersection, it means you can take both equation, okay, both these lines punya equation and do simultaneous. All right, it means you do penggantian substitution or elimination method. All right, if you want to find point of intersection. But look carefully at this. This point is not just the intersection point of the fx and F inverse. It's also the intersection point of which line? The y equals x line. Can you see it? So let me repeat one more time. This point is not just the intersection for fx and F inverse. It's also the intersection point for the y equals x line. So we can actually write down the fx equals x squared minus 6, make this equation 1, and then y equals x, make this equation 2, and do simultaneous also, right? Because this point is actually intersection point for 3 lines, the fx, the F inverse, and the y equals x. So you can just choose any 2 equation and do simultaneous, because these 3 lines, they intersect at this point, right? But why I choose fx and the y equals x line? Because I have these 2 equations, right? That is why it's better to do it like this. So what you do now is you do substitution. So y equals to x. Hey, if they say y means fx, okay, y and fx the same thing. So if they say fx equals x, it means I can ganti straight away the x inside here. So it will be substitute 2 into 1, and then it will become x squared minus 6, and then the whole fx is x, like this, right? Because fx and y is the same thing, right? Fx and y is the same thing. So if I say y equals to x, it means x equals to x squared minus 6. And now we can solve this, just susun to general form like this, right? And then you press calculator, you will get 2 answers. Why got 2 answers? Okay, later I'll explain to you why got 2 answers. Now we press calculator first. So you will get x equals something, x equals something. Okay, let's try to do it without calculator. 3, 2, minus, plus. Okay, this one is minus, this one is plus. Okay, you will get x equals x equals positive 3, sorry, x equals positive 3. And then the other x is negative 2, right? But what do you think the x coordinate of this intersection point? Do you think it's 3 or -2, right? Of course it's 3, right? It cannot be -2. It doesn't make sense, because this one should be positive number. But I promise you already, I told you I will explain to you why got 2 answers, right? Okay, I'll explain to you why. Because there's another intersection point below here. There's another, but of course you can't see it because they never draw until there, because they only draw within this range. They only draw until here. But if you keep going, and then the F inverse also keep going, it extends here, there will be another intersection point at x -2 here. Okay, but of course we don't want that, right? We don't want that. So I'm gonna erase this, right? Because I'm scared it will affect my A punya markah. So I will just erase all this, right? So this is just the sketching. So that's why we only want the 3 answer, right? So find the coordinates of point of intersection of both graph. The answer will be 3. Okay, 3. But the y coordinate, how to find? Well, you just substitute inside any of this equation, right? You can substitute into equation 2 lah. So what happens if you substitute x equals to 3? Your y will get 3 also, right? It means when x equals to 3, y is also 3. So the intersection point here is 3, 3, right? Actually, the -2 is also one of the intersection, but I don't think you will want to find the other intersection, right? But if you want to find, you can find it also. Just take -2, ganti masuk, and then you will get -2, -2 for the other intersection. right? But I think they are asking you to find this one only, right? So I will just stop here lah. Okay, last one, C. I think C, where should I do it? Maybe I'll do it above here. Okay, C, I'll do it here. Find the function of gx if f gx equals to this. So let's write down the composite function. This one we call it composite. I will always use big bracket to write f gx equals to x squared plus 2x minus 5. All right, they want me to find gx, but they give me f gx, right? So actually, I also have fx, right? Do you remember fx they give in the soalan, right? The fx equals to x squared minus 6, right? So let's write that down. Fx equals to x squared minus 6. So we actually have fx and fgx. So can you tell me, when they give you single function and they give you composite function and they ask you to find single, how will you do this, Christian? Do you remember how to do this? I teach in class before. You have to start from single function or composite function. You have to start from composite function. So let's write down the composite. Fgx equals to x squared plus 2x minus 5. And then what is the next step? You have to check whether dalam punya function ada ke tak ada. Kalau dalam punya function ada, you kena guna let punya cara. Kalau dalam tak ada, you will tengok luar. Okay, I repeat one more time. For this type of question, bagi single, bagi composite, cari single, there's two methods. One method you have to let, one method you don't have to let. How to know, how macam mana nak tahu this question kena let ataupun tak payah let? You kena tengok dalam. Kalau dalam ada, kena let. Kalau dalam tak ada, tak payah let. So let's tengok dalam GX. Ada tak GX? Tak ada, right? Why tak ada? Because I want to find, I want to cari the GX. So bila dalam tak ada, luar mesti ada. So what you have to do is, kalau dalam tak ada, you tengok luar. Okay, but of course if dalam ada, then you will use different method. Okay, the dalam ada, you have to masuk dalam first and then let y equals bracket, cari x yang tu. Tapi kalau ini dalam tak ada, you can terus tengok luar. Okay, it means tak payah let lah. So kalau dalam tak ada, luar mesti ada. So luar is f. And if you look at this is also f. So they are the same function, right? They are the same function. It means I can write down the x squared minus 6 here. But I have to be careful. I cannot write x squared minus 6, right? I have to write what? Gx squared minus 6. Because my bracket x now is already changed to bracket gx. So the x here also have to change to bx. And then whatever at the back, you just salin exactly the same. All right, means you just ikut saja. All right, and now you can find your gx, but first you need to pindah your minus 6 to the other side. So the square, I think I don't want pindah first. I write like this first. Minus 6 hantar jadi plus 6, so it becomes x squared plus 2x. Negative 5 plus 6 is just plus 1. Okay? And then now you move the square root. So the square becomes square root. So I'll erase the square here, and then the square becomes square root here. Right? And when we write, okay, if you look carefully at this, the x squared plus 2x plus 1, actually you can factorize, right? It can actually factorize. Okay, it means you can simplify this further. So when we square root, don't forget to write plus minus. So it'll be gx equals to plus minus. Okay, square root. Okay, how to factorize the x squared plus 2x plus 1? You can actually make it into x plus 1 square. All right, let me explain. Because x squared plus 2x plus 1, you can factorize using calculator. And when you factorize, you press calculator, you get negative 1. It means you only get one answer, right? It means the atas punya bracket will be x plus 1, x plus 1. And if you expand this, you will really get back to the x squared plus 2x plus 1, right? So you can press your calculator and then you will get this, right? And then now you can tengok square root and square. You can actually, what you do with the square root and square, they can cancel each other, right? Because square root and square, they memang boleh, you can cut, right? So you're left with plus minus bracket x plus 1, right? So that will be the final answer, right? It means that gx can be x plus 1. It can also be negative x minus 1. Because when the negative times inside, you will get like this, right? So I think it's better to just write like this, okay? So this is how you do the number 1 question. Okay, I think I never leave out anything, right? So, yep. Okay. Okay, yeah, I think it's good. All right, let's continue with question number 2. Okay, this is quadratic punya chapter, Form 4 chapter 2. Okay, let's read. Given a function fx equals to 2x squared minus 6x plus 7, this is already in general form. Okay, because if it's not general form, you have to make it in general form. Okay, and then it says has roots m and n. Okay, definitely I will do softball method. Whenever you see the word roots, but they never say 2 different roots, 2 equal roots, no roots, it means you will use the softball method, right? But before we use softball, we write down our information first. Fx equals to 2x squared minus 6x plus 7. Can you tell me roots is m and n. It means what is m and what is n. What do we, if they say this is the roots, means what we write? We will write the x and x1 and the x2. Okay, because roots means x. Okay, roots means x. Or the other word, the other name for roots is x-intercept. Okay, so we will call it x1, x2. Okay, and then they say form a quadratic equation with roots 3n plus 1, 3n plus 1. So I have to separate this root and this other root, because this other root is what? X1 equals to 3n plus 1, 3n plus 1, and then 3n plus 1, right? So can you see I separate it nicely? I draw a line, okay, because I don't want to mix them up. And then they want me to form an equation, okay? Okay, before I start, let's talk about the Sauer formula. There is 3 formula you need to hafal. Sum of root formula is you take the x1 plus x2, okay, equals to negative b over a. This is the Sauer formula. Next formula is POR. POR formula is you take the x1 times with x2 equals to c over a. All right, and there is one more formula. We will only use this formula when they ask us to form equation, form new equation. Then only we use this formula. The formula is x squared minus, okay, why the square here? Okay, the square should be here, minus SOR x plus POR equals 0. So under SOR POR, there's only 3 formula you need to remember, you need to memorize, right? This is formula 1, formula 2, formula 3. One is the formula for SOR, this is formula for POR, and this is formula we only use it to form equation. So now if you look at this question, it's very obvious. They already said form a new equation with these roots. So definitely we will be using this formula, which is x squared minus SOR x plus POR equals 0. But in order to use this formula, we need to find out the SOR and the POR for these roots. Do you agree? I need to have the SOR and POR for these 2 roots. Then only I can put it inside here and put it inside here. But the problem is I can't find my SOR, because when I find my SOR, the m and n we don't know, right? It means you actually have to do SOR POR 2 times. Do you understand? It means you have to do SOR POR 2 times. Why have to do SOR POR 2 times? First time is for this, all right? And then the other time is for the new roots. Okay, later you will understand why you have to do 2 times, right? The first time support is you will take this formula, x1 plus x2 equals negative b over a. So it will be m plus n, the x1 plus x2 lah. So m plus n equals to negative b over a. So negative b over a. So what is the b? Negative 6. What is the a? 2. So we all know m plus n equals to 3, right? And then we cannot continue anymore because there's 2 unknown. And then now we do POR. Okay, everything will make sense later. X1 times POR formula, x1 times x2 equals c over a. So x1 times x2, which is m times n, equals to c over a is 7 over 2. So now we will just stop here, right? We will just stop here. But these 2 information will help you to do this SOPOR later, right? Because you need these 2 information to be able to find the SOPOR for these new roots. That is why you have to do SOPOR 2 times. So now you will do SOPOR, but this time you will not write x1 plus x2 equals negative b over a. You will just write 3n plus 1 plus 3n plus 1. You cannot write equals to negative b negative 6 over 2. No, cannot. Because why cannot? Why you cannot take this b and this a inside here? Because this equation punya roots is not 3n plus 1 and 3n plus 1. It means these 2 roots is not the roots of this equation. This equation punya root is lain. This equation punya root is m and n. Bukan 3n plus 1, 3n plus 1. It means you don't have the b and a. It means you don't have to write the b and a. You know why you don't have the b and a? Because you don't have the equation. You are trying to form the equation. So when you try to form the equation, when you're using this formula, mesti you takkan ada dia punya b and a and c punya a, c and a punya. It means we don't have to write because we don't have, right? We want to form the equation. If we have, then we already know the answer already. Okay, but the problem is we don't have. That's why we will just write x1 plus x2. We will not write the negative b or a. But do you remember I told you that this m plus n equals 3 and mn equals 72? These 2 information will help you. So yeah, if you look at this, 3m plus 3n you cannot do, but you can put it side by side like this, and then 1 plus 1 is 2 like that. And you can clearly see we can use this information to help me. M plus n equals 3. But before that, we have to factorize out the 3 first. Then you will left with m plus n and n plus 2. And why I do it like this is because so that I can sub the m plus n equals to 3 plus 2 like that. So now you will get 9 plus 2, and 3 plus 3 is 3 times 3 is 9, 9 plus 2 is 11. Yeah. And then the POR will be x1 times x2 equals c over a, which is 3n plus 1 times 3n plus 1. Again, don't have to write the c over a. You cannot take this c and this a because this equation is Lion punya equation. The equation for these roots, I don't even have it. So if you don't have it, you don't have to write the equal, just put it in front. And then now you expand this, 3m times 3n, 9mn, sorry, almost made a mistake, 9mn. And then the next one will be 3m times 1 will be 3m, and then 1 times 3n will be 3n, and then 1 times 1 will be 1. And then don't forget, you can use these two information to help you. So 9 bracket mn, well, it's 7 over 2, just put it in, and then plus 3m plus 3n, it's same like just now. So you just factorize out the 3, and then it will left with m plus n, and then just put in 3 plus 1 like this. And then you will press calculator to press all this, right? Okay, let me get my calculator, wait for me. Okay, I'm back. I went and take my calculator just now. So now I press everything inside. So I press 9 bracket 7 over 2 close bracket plus 3 plus 9 lah, and then plus 1. Okay, my calculator give me 83 over 2. Okay, so I'll just write down a positive 83 over 2. And finally, now with this SOR value and this POR value, we can actually form the new equation. What is the formula? X squared minus SOR x plus POR equals 0. So just write it down. Dot, dot, dot. X squared minus SOR. SOR is 11, so you have to write 11. And don't forget to write the X. It means when you masuk the SOR, you always have to tukar tanda first. If positive, you write negative. If negative, you write positive at the B. At the B, and then don't forget to write X. But the POR, you don't have to tukar tanda. You just masuk 83 over 2 equals 0. Okay, please don't tell me you stop your answer here. Okay, please don't tell me you stop here because you should simplify so that your answer don't have fraction. So how you can simplify this? You can make everything times 2. Okay, because we want to hilangkan the fraction. So it will be 2x squared minus 22x plus 83 equals 0. So this actually should be your final answer. All right. So this is how you do it. Right. So remember, if they give you one equation and the roots, and then want to form a new equation, you will always do SOPOR 2 times. One time for the old equation, and the other time is for the new equation. Why have to do 2 times? Because when you do SOPOR first time, you will end up with these two information, and these two information will help you to do the SOPOR for the second time. But if you don't do this first time, then you cannot do this also. You will get stuck here also. Okay, so understand, huh? Okay, now we continue with question B, but I don't have enough space, so how? Okay, can I somehow make this smaller? If I can make this smaller, I have space to do, right? Okay lah, I think like that. Yeah. Okay, let's make this even smaller. So, okay, like that. Yeah, I think you can see it also. So this one is B. Okay. Okay, let's look at B question. Okay, we read the question first. If modulus X bigger than P, okay, this one, maybe a lot of students will get confused by this. Tapa, I write it down first. I'll explain to you later. So I'm sure this will be important later, so I'll write it down. Is the solution. Solution means the answer. Okay, the answer. For the inequality, for this inequality, let's write this down also. Fx, just move the 6x over lah. X squared minus 6x plus 16. Why I move it over? Because I already know the fx later have to ganti with this, right? Okay, but that's why I move it over in advance. And then they say where p is constant, this one not important, find the value of p. Okay, what does it mean here? It means this fx later confirm you have to substitute with this, which is 2x squared minus 6x plus 7 bigger x squared minus 6x plus 16. And then how you solve this equation? Okay, it's not even an equation, right? It's an inequality because got bigger sign. So how do you solve this inequality? You will susun everything to one side, bigger than 0, and then you press calculator, get 2 answer, and then you will use the graph sketching method, right? And it's either you sketch here or you will sketch down here, right? Because inequality memang kena sketch one, but if it's bigger, you will sketch here lah. The left side and the right side. But if smaller, you will sketch bawah middle here, right? But this question, I think it's bigger. Okay, I think it's bigger. And they even tell you the solution already. Do you remember I told you, they mentioned in the soalan, they say what? Modulus x bigger p is the solution. And let me tell you what this means. Modulus x bigger than p means, it means your x is p, your x is negative p, okay? Your x is p and your x is negative p. one is x is smaller than the negative p and bigger than p. So this is what it means. All right. So let me repeat one more time. Modulus x bigger than p means x smaller than negative p, x bigger than p. This is what it means actually. Because modulus, when you move over, it becomes satu positive, satu negative. But if this symbol is bigger, then it will be this. Then it means I have to write smaller negative, bigger positive. But what if I say modulus x smaller than p? If like this means it means is x in between negative p and p. If they write like this. All right, if modulus smaller than p, this is what it means, right? But if they say modulus x bigger than p, it means like this: x smaller than negative p, x bigger than p. All right. So let me erase this. So what they want you to find later is to find p, right? So what you should do now? This is actually the solution. They already mentioned this is the solution. It means this is the answer, you know. So what I do now is I solve this inequality myself and then take my answer, compare with the answer yang dia bagi, and then I will get my p value, right? Compare later. Okay, now we solve this inequality. What first thing first is pindah everything to one side equals 0 because we want it to be general form. So the x square will go here, becomes minus. So 2 minus 1 is x square. And then minus 6 will move here, become plus. Negative 6 plus 6, I think it's 0. So don't have to write. And then 7 minus 16, which is negative 9. And don't forget the symbol is still bigger, 0 like this. How to find the, what do you call it? How do you find the x? So the way to find this is to factorize, right? But before you factorize, how you factorize this? You don't need calculator for this. The 9 you can change to 3 square, right? Right? Then some of you might ask, kenapa you buat macam tu? So that I can factorize this into 2 bracket. Do you remember this? If you 9 become 3 square, it will become what? X3, 1 plus, 1 minus, right? Because you learned this before, right? When tengah-tengah is minus and everything got square here, you can write x plus 3, x minus 3. All right? You can write minus plus also. Okay, just make sure it's 1 plus, 1 minus. Until you reach here, you will write x equals to negative 3 and then x equals to positive 3. Please don't tell me you write x bigger like this and you thought it's the answer. No, cannot. If this one is bigger 0, this one is bigger 0, but here you cannot write bigger, cannot. This one, it has to be equal, and then you, in order to find the range, you have to use the graph method. Okay, it means you will write here, and then you will low rate later. You will shade the region. Okay, first of all, you will have to label here first. The negative 3 is smaller, so in front 3 is bigger, so here. And now you look at the bracket is bigger or smaller? It's bigger, right? So bigger means you will sketch here and here. Okay, if it's smaller, you will sketch in between here. Okay, so what would be the answer? What would be the range of x? The range of x here would be x smaller than negative 3 or x bigger than 3, right? Because you sketch here. If you sketch in between here, if this is smaller, you sketch in between, then you will write in between symbol, right? But this one is kalau dia smaller. Kalau dia smaller, baru jawapan dia macam ni. So this is your answer, but I don't think this is what they want. They want to find value of p, right? So how to find value of p? They already say modulus x bigger p is the solution. So now I will compare this answer with this answer here. So the answer yang dia bagi is what? X smaller negative p or x bigger p. So now you will compare these two like that. So when you compare this, you will know your p value. What is your p value? 3. Okay, please don't tell me negative 3. No. Look at this. X bigger 3, x bigger p. So p3. This one also, x smaller negative 3, x smaller negative p. It means negative p and negative 3 is the same. So p equals to 3 also. All right. So the p correct answer here is 3. Okay. So I hope you understand. All right. I think that's all, right? So 3 marks, you get 6 marks, right? Okay, let's continue. Okay, number 3. Okay, let's skip this. The Malay one. Okay, Tommy has 3 condominium units. Type A with 1 bedroom, type B with 2 bedroom, type C with 3 bedroom. So 3 type of condo, and then they all have different number of bedroom. All 3 condominiums units are rented. And the total rent received by Tommy is RM1160. This is the total rent received. Tommy needs to save 10% of the rent. So the save, the word save, 10% of the rent of type A, 20% of type B, 30% of rent of type C to pay for maintenance charges. And the total daily savings is 258, right? And then they say the rent for type C unit is twice the rent of type A unit. What is the daily rent of condominium unit owned by Tommy? Okay, whenever I teach students to do this type of question, we call it simultaneous. All right, simultaneous. But this one is involving 3 variable, right? Because got type A, type B, type C. And whenever I teach students to do this question, I always tell students to read the last baris. It means you will read this question 2 times. First time you will just read it. You will just read it. You will not write anything. You will not label anything because it's very hard to label because all the information is all over the place. And then you just read the first time. And when you read the second time, because after you read the first time, you will know what the last baris wants, right? Okay, you will know what the question wants. And then when you read the second time, you will know what you have to look for, right? So if you look at the last baris here, what the question wants you to find, the daily rent of each condominium unit owned by Tommy, right? So whatever they want you to find in the question, that's the thing you have to let becomes X, Y, Z, all right? Or it can be PQR or LMN, any alphabet you want. So what they want to find, daily rent of each condominium unit owned by Tommy, right? So X will be what? It will be in RM lah, because it's daily rent, right? So rent is in RM. So X will be the RMX will be the daily rent for each condominium, and there's 3 types. So daily rent for condominium type A, right? Daily rent for type A condo, okay, type A condominium. And then Y will be the daily rent for type B condo, right? Type B condo. And then Z will be daily rent for type C condo. Okay, I want to ask you, why is it important to write this first before writing the 3 equation? Because if you have this, if you know what X, Y, Z represents, it's much more easier to write the equation, or else you will write something wrong later, right? That's why it's very important to read the last baris, read until the last baris and see what the question wants first. Then only you know which one is X, Y, Z. And then now you read for the second time. And now when you read it, it's very easy for you to write the equation because you already know what X, Y, Z represents, right? So now when you read it, it will be very easy. Type A has 1 bedroom, type B with 2 bedroom, type C with 3 bedroom. All 3 condominiums units are rented, and the total rent received by Tommy is 1160. So we all know 1160 is the what? Is the total rent received. And we already know X, Y, Z, they are all RM, because these are all represents daily rent. So you all know it will be X plus Y plus Z, right? But imagine if I never write this, then maybe I'll write something wrong. Maybe I'll write something like 1x plus 2y plus 3z. Then wrong already, because the 1, 2, 3 is the number of bedroom, right? Why you times with the daily rent, right? It doesn't make any sense. So that is why it's very important to know what the X, Y, Z represents. Okay, maybe it represents number, maybe it represents RM, maybe it represents like rent, or maybe it represents feet or like whatever, right? So it's important to know what the X, Y, Z represents, right? For in this case, it's the daily rent, not the number of bedroom. Okay, so definitely this is the correct one lah. So this is equation 1. Let's keep reading. Tommy needs to save 10% of type A, 20% of type B, and 30% of the rent of C to pay for maintenance charge, and the total saving is 258. So 258 is in RM. And let me tell you, XYZ is also RM, because XYZ is also the daily rent. So how much he saved from type A unit? So he will save 10% from the type A unit. 10% from type A means 10 over 100 times X, which is 0.1X. Because 10% means 10 divided 100, which is 0.1. And then plus with 20% of B, which is 0.2Y. And then 30% for C, which is 0.3Z. And then the total saving is 258, right? And this is equation 2. Right, we can do it like this because they are saving from the total rent, and XYZ is already the rent. So yeah, this is how you do it, right? And then what is the last part? The rent for type C unit, okay, rent. So rent for type C is what? Z, right? So Z is twice the rent of type A. So it's twice the rent of type A. So Z equals to 2X lah. And this is equation 3. And now, what is the daily rent for each condo unit find by Tommy? It means I'm finding XYZ lah, because XYZ is, I already let XYZ equals to the daily rent for each condo. Okay. So remember, my advice, my tips for you is when we do this kind of question, the simultaneous equation, always see what the question wants first. Because once you know apa dia mau cari, then only you know which one is the X, Y, and Z, right? Then only you can write your equation easily, all right? Because what we do is we will let what the question wants become XYZ, and then we just find XYZ, right? Okay, now I think we can skip everything atas. Now we can just solve this equation. Okay, which method you will use here? Will you use the substitution method or elimination method? Of course, you can do, if you do either method, you will get the same answer, right? If you use substitution, you get the same answer. Elimination, you get the same answer. But I'm trying to look for the easiest method to solve this, right? Or maybe like the fastest way. So let's see this, x, y, z, x, y, z, z, x. Okay, I can take advantage of this because this equation only have two unknowns, right? And also, the z is already single. Z is already single. So why not I use substitution method and substitute the Z equals 2x inside here, inside this Z and inside this Z, right? And then I will end up with two equation with X and Y. And then I can continue from there, right? So I think my plan now is this. I use substitution method. So I'll write sub 3 into 1 and then 3 into 2 later. Okay, 3 into 1 first. So it will be x plus y plus z equals to 1160. And the z I will put 2x. 2x plus x is 3x plus y equals to 1160. And then I will stand by here, call this equation 4. And then I will stop for a while and then do the other one, which is sub 3. Sub 3, but this time into 2, right? Sub 3 into 2. And now you will get another equation with x and y. 0.1x plus 0.2y plus 0.3z, which is 2x equals to 258. And then simplify this. 0.3 times 2 is 0.6, I think. And then plus 0.1 is 0.7, right? Yeah. So you will write 0.7x plus 0.2y equals to 258. And we can call this equation 5. And now equation 4 and equation 5, you will do the simultaneous equation sekali lagi, then you will can find your xy, right? Because now we have two unknown here, two unknown here. So how to do? Will you use elimination? Can also, up to you. If you want to use elimination, maybe you have to samakan the coefficient lah. So what you can do is maybe you take the y here times 0.2, make it sama. But I want to do substitution, right? So how do we do substitution is we will write from equation 4 and then I will make the y single, right? Of course, you can make x single also, but I don't like it because if you make x single, there will be fraction. So what I will do is I'll make the y single. It will be 1160 minus 3x. And then this will be equation 6. But 6 actually come from 4, right? And then you substitute 6 into 5, right? And then you continue here, substitute 6 into 5. So now your equation 5 becomes 0.7x plus 0.2y equals to 258. And your equation 6 is 1160 minus 3x, all right? But I want you to know there's a lot of method to do this question. Okay, what I'm doing now is the substitution method lah, but there's actually another there's so many ways to do it, right? So if your working is not the same with me, it's fine, all right? As long as your answer is same with me, then it's correct already, right? So let's separate this, right? Okay, so 0.7x 0.2 times 1160, you can press calculator. Okay, I get 232, so just write it 232. And then 0.2 times negative 3, I think is negative 0.6x equals to 258. X hanya boleh buat dengan X, number hanya boleh buat dengan number. So 0.7 minus 0.6 is 0.1, and then 58 minus 32, what do you get? Positive 26, and then 26 divided by 0.1, I think you will get 260, right? But of course, this is not the end. I still have to find Y and Z. So what if I substitute back here, right? So when X equals to 260, my Y will be 1160 minus 3X. Okay, and then I just press this whole thing. So 1160 minus 3 times 260. And then it will get 380, right? After I have my X and Y, I still have to find Z. But how to find your Z? You can substitute into any equation. Equation 1 also can, 2 also can, 3 also can. But equation 3 is the easiest one, right? So let's try to find Z. Let's write it here. When X equals to 260, your Z equals to 2X. So your Z must be 2 times 260, which is 580, right? Of course, you can ganti into equation 1 and equation 2 also, can also. You will get the same answer. Okay, after you get your X, Y, Z, finally you should write your final answer. Don't write like this. You will not get full mark if you write like this, because they ask you to find daily rent for each type of condo. So if you write like this, X, Y, Z, actually you will not get full mark, right? So what you have to write here is, okay, what is your X represents? Daily rent, right? So you should actually write daily rent for type A unit, right? How they write it just now? Daily rent for each condominium unit. So for type A condo unit lah. Okay, daily rent for type A condo unit for type A condominium Okay, wait. Oops. Uh, okay, sorry. Okay, I think I have to erase this and write more like here. Okay. But this one is supposed to be down here, but I don't have enough space, so I write here. So daily rent for type A condominium unit is equals to RM 380, right? Not enough space again. Equals to RM 380. Ayo. Okay lah, I'll just write here lah, yeah. Right here. But this one is supposed to be down here. So daily rent for type A condominium unit is equals to RM. Okay, for type A is X. What is my X? 260. Okay, right, 260. And then comma, daily rent for type B. I know this step is very boring, right? But you have to write it. Okay, you have to write it. Okay, it's very boring. It's very, you are very late. I know you're very lazy to write this, but you still have to write it. So Y is 380, and then the last step, daily rent for type C condo. If you want to get full mark, you have to write. And then type C condominium unit equals to 580, right? Why you have to write like this? Because if you just write X, Y, Z equals, no one can understand, right? No one can understand like what you're finding, because they never ask you to find X, Y, Z. So you have to write down what the X, Y, Z represents. Oh, and by the way, I made a mistake. I just realized 260 times 2 is not 580. It's 520. So this one is 520. Yeah, I just realized. So yeah. And then I think the rest is correct. I think the rest is correct, right? Yep. So that's the answer lah. Okay, let's continue. Number 4A. They want me to buktikan formula hasil tambah ketahingaan S infinity A over 1 minus R. Prove the formula sum to infinity S infinity A over minus 1 minus R. So it's only worth 2 marks, right? So where should I do this? Okay, let's do here lah, right? Number 4A. Okay, I'll do it here. So they want me to prove this formula, which is the S infinity formula, A over 1 minus R. Okay, in trial 2022 and trial 2023, they ask this type of question a lot, where they ask you to derive the formula, ataupun you prove the formula for like a lot of formula, okay? I pernah jumpa dia tanya, they asked me to prove this formula, which is the integral sine square plus cos square equals to 1, the basic identity, right? And this one they got asked a lot in trial 2022 to prove this formula, sine square plus cos square equals 1. But this one I already explained it in my class, in my video also I got explain it, right? And then I realized also they ask you to prove a lot of geometric progression punya formula, and also just progression punya formula, right? So this one they asked me to prove this formula S infinity, right? And I remember in one paper, I forgot which one, they asked me to prove I think it's Sabah paper 1. Yeah, Sabah paper 1. This is Sabah paper 2, right? Sabah paper 1, they asked me to prove this formula Sn equals to n over 2, 2a plus n minus 1d, right? In this same state paper, in paper 1. Okay, but this one is the arithmetic punya formula, right? But now they want me to prove S infinity, which is the geometric progression punya. So let's try to prove it. Okay, first thing first is you need to use the Sn formula. If you want to prove this, you need the Tn formula and the Sn formula. So I'll write down. So the Tn formula for arithmetic progression is AR power n minus 1. All right, this is the formula that you learn in geometric progression. And then there's another formula that you'll be using, which is the Sn. It will be A bracket 1 minus R power n over 1 minus R, or AR power n minus 1 over R minus 1. Right? This is the Sn formula for geometric progression. This one and this one. Okay? There's two versions. And then they want me to prove the S infinity formula. This is also one of the formula that you need to hafal, you need to remember, right? But they want me to prove it. So I will show you how to prove it. Okay? Okay, let's talk about oh, by the way, there's only 2 marks, right? So actually, if it's only 2 marks, you can straight away prove from your Sn formula. Okay. But I want to show you how to prove the Sn formula also. Okay, let me explain what I mean by that. It means if you want to prove S infinity formula, you can actually prove very fast, right? You can straight away take your Sn formula, a1 minus r power n over 1 minus r, and if your r is 0 point something and your power n is power infinity, this whole thing will disappear, because if your r base is 0 point something, when you power a very big number, you will get 0. And then 1 minus 0 is 1. That's why this whole thing is cut already. And then you just left with 1 minus r. And that's how you prove the S infinity formula, right? But I want to show you how to prove the Sn formula also. It means I okay, it means if you want to prove the S infinity formula, you will use the Sn formula, right? But I want to show you how to prove the Sn formula. So even though the question never asks you to prove, and it's only 2 marks, right? But I think it's important to learn it also, because they might ask, because all the MS people I do, like, they ask this a lot. So even though it's only 2 marks, and I don't think they want you to prove the Sn formula, but I want to prove the Sn formula also, right? Then only I'll teach you how to prove this. So how do you prove the Sn formula? Sn formula is actually, it means what? T1 plus T2 plus T3, so on until Tn, right? Tn. Okay. If I want S7, then I plus until T7, right? So what is the term before Tn? It will be Tn minus 1, right? And then we will use the Tn formula, which is AR power n minus 1, right? It means the first term will be A, the next term will be A times R, right? A times R. And then the next one will be A times R, which is AR power 2. It means the power will always be 1 less than the n. If the n is 3, then the power will be 1 less than 3, which is 2. So what do you think will be the Tn minus 1 punya power? It will be AR power n, n minus 2, sorry. Because it will be n minus 1 minus 1, right? And then, of course, the last one will be Tn. This will be AR power n minus 1, because the power have to minus 1. Like that, right? It means the formula to find the term will be the power have to 1 less than the actual number, actual n, right? So if it's T3, it will be power 2, T2 will be power 1, and so on. Okay, what I will do now is I will take this whole everything times with r. Okay, what I'll do is I'll take everything times with r. Okay, so this is how you prove the Sn formula. This is the step, so you have to remember. So the step to prove the Sn formula is like this. After you write down like this, you will times with r. So what happens to this? It becomes AR, right? What happens when you take this one times r? It will be AR power 2 times r will be AR power 3, and then dot 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 dot. Okay, what is AR power n minus 2 times r? It will be AR power n minus 1. Let me explain. AR power n minus 2 times with r, it means you will get the r and r, when you times the power, you have to plus. So it will be n minus 2 plus 1, because this one nothing means power plus 1. And then you will end up with AR power n minus 1. Okay, because negative 2 plus 1 is minus 1. So this is where it came from. Okay, and then the last one, what is AR power n minus 1 times r? So when you times r, the n power have to plus 1. So n minus 1 plus 1 will left with r power n, right? Because negative 1 plus 1 is 0, and then just left with n, right? So I hope you understand where all these numbers came from. So now I will erase this. Now I will do something. I will do simultaneous. This I will call it equation 1. This I will call it equation 2. All right. For deriving punya question, for proof formula question, there's no other way. You just have to memorize the steps, right? So what is the first step just now? Write down the Sn in this way, and then times r. And then next step is take the equation and do simultaneous. And I will take equation 1 minus equation 2, right? Actually, you can take equation 2 minus equation 1 also. If you take equation 2, equation 1, you will end up with this. You will end up proving this, right? But if you want to prove the first one, you will do 1 minus 2, okay? So equation 1 minus equation 2, then only you end up with this. Okay, later I will show you. Okay, so equation 1 minus equation 2, what do you think will happen? It will be Sn minus Rsn, right? Because when you take 1 minus 2, you will take this one minus this one. And then what happens here is this AR and this AR will cancel each other when you minus. Do you agree? Because when you take 1 minus 2, AR minus AR cancel. AR power 2 minus AR power 2 will be cancelled. and then AR power n minus 1 and AR power n minus 1 cancel. And guess what? The AR power n minus 2 also will get cancelled with the term before this, right? And then AR power 3 will also cancel. It means every term in between here will cancel each other in between here, right? So every terms in between will cancel, all right? And then you will left with A and AR power n, right? So you're left with A minus AR power n. Why minus? Because the formula, because I'm taking 1 minus 2, right? So of course it will be A minus AR power n. So let me continue here, A minus AR power n. And now what you do is you can factorize both sides. This side you can factorize, you take out Sn, you will end up with 1 minus R. This one you will factorize A, and then you will left with 1 minus R power n. And now you can prove your Sn formula. Just move this over, it become A 1 minus R power n over 1 minus R. And you can see I already successfully proved this formula. This formula 1 minus R power n is exactly same with, let me kecilkan, is exactly same with this formula, right? Right? 1 minus R power n, right? Now, imagine if I take 2 minus 1. Imagine if I never take equation 1 minus equation 2, I take equation 2 minus equation 1. Can also, but you will end up with this, right? With the second version of the Sn formula. Okay, so it's the same thing, right? Okay, but now they want me to prove the S infinity formula, right? So how do we prove the S infinity formula from here? Okay, I will continue from here. Okay, I will continue from here. S infinity. So imagine your n is infinity, right? If your n is infinity, but if your what if your r is like a 0 point something punya number? So let's say you have 0.2. Let's try to press calculator 0.2 power 10 and see what I get. 0.2 power 10, what you get? You will get 1.024 times 10 power negative 7 if you press calculator. And what this means is you have to move your decimal backwards 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And it means 0.000, okay? And then 2, 4, 6. It means your answer is very near to 0, right? But what if you take 0.2 power 50? See what you get. 0.2 power 50. And wow, even smaller, right? It will be 1.1258, so 126 times 10 power negative 35. So it means you are moving your decimal point backwards 35 times, right? Now let's try with 0.2 power 1000. See what the calculator give you. So okay, your calculator actually give up and they give you 0. What this means, what I'm trying to show you here, it means when your power gets bigger, okay, if your power is very big and your base is like 0 point something, you will end up with 0. Okay, you'll end up with 0 eventually. So imagine now this n now is infinity and your r is lesser than 1. So what do you think will happen here? It means this will be 0, right? It means I'll write here if your n is bigger, right? And it means your r power n will be nearer to 0, but only if your r is lesser than 1, right? So I should write here only if, okay. Okay, I'll put star here only if your r is lesser than 1. It means your r is like, how to say? Like 0 point something lah. Okay, 0 point something. Okay. So then this will works, right? So now it means to prove the S infinity formula, it will be what? A 1 minus, okay, R power n. I already mentioned if your R is smaller than 1, it means 0 point something. Oh, by the way, I use 0.2, but you can try with any number. Just make sure it's 0 point something. You can try 0.25, 0.37, 0.88. Doesn't matter. 0 point n, 0 point something punya number. When you power a very big number, you will end up as 0. Okay, you end up like 0. Okay, when the number power get bigger, it means r power n will be 0 here, right? Because if your r is 0 point something, okay, it means less than 1, and then your n is oh, by the way, it cannot be less than 1. It can be less than 1, but it also have to be more than 0. It cannot be negative. It means less than 1, but more than 0. Because if this is negative, then I think it doesn't work anymore, right? Okay, because if it's -2, then it will not have this case. It's only have when it's 0 point something, then only you will see this. Okay, then only it will approach 0 when you naikkan the power. When you increase the power and your r is 0 point something, then only it will approach 0. So it means your R has to be in between 0 and 1. I write this in reverse actually. Okay, it means like this, right? It means in between 0 and 1 lah. So you get the idea. So when your R is 0 point something and your N, and you increase the power, you will approach 0, and then bawah will be 1 minus R. And we all know 1 minus 0 is just 1, and then 1 times A is A, so you will get A or 1 minus R. So this is how you prove the S infinity formula, right? So I hope you understand my explanation, and I'll erase all this, right? But let me tell you something. Actually, this question, you don't need to do all this actually, right? Because this question is only worth 2 marks. So if it's only worth 2 marks, actually you only need to do this, right? You only need to do from here to here, right? But why I want to do this is because I feel like they might ask you to, because I think it's important to know this also lah, because they ask this type of question a lot in this year. Last year paper also, they got asked how to prove this formula. So that's why I explain it also lah. All right. So I just want you to know how to say, know lagi detail punya benda lah. Okay, let's go to B. Hence, by using formula in A, which is the S infinity, solve the question below. So I am sure for B question, I'll be using the S infinity formula. Let's read the question. Diagram 4 shows a pendulum of length 20 cm. So I can say this is the pendulum, right? So when you swing, this length will not change. It will forever be 20, right? And then it will form an arc with angle theta. Okay, the angle theta will change, right? Because eventually it will get, how to say, it will lose energy, and then the angle will decrease, right? But the length will not, the length of the string will always be 20, just the angle will decrease. Given that the first swing forms an angle of 70 degree, so I assume this is the start, right? And then he will let go, it will push, and then it will form a 70 degree, like from here to here, right? 70 degree. And then the second swing forms a 67.2. So when he let go here, it will swing 70, but when he swings back, it only swings until here, right? Because it lose energy already. So maybe the 67.2 is here. And then when it swings back, and then it will be even, it will not reach here already. It will lagi less lah, until it stops. And then each subsequent swing follow the geometric progression. Okay, so it's like getting how to say, the angle is decreasing lah. Determine whether the total distance traveled of pendulum swing exceeds 700 cm when the pendulum stops. Okay, I don't want to think about this first. I want to write down the progression first, because the angle can actually form a progression, because the angle for the first swing is 70 degree, and then it goes from 70 to 67.2, and it can actually form a geometric progression here. What would be the A? It will be 70, right? And it will be geometric, so it will be R. So how to get the R is take the T2 minus T1. So what is 67.2 divide 70? You will end up 0.96. Yeah, 0.96. So the R here is 0.96. So can you tell me what is the third swing punya angle? What is the third swing punya angle? You will take 67.2 times 0.96. Let's press. I got 64.512 degree, right? So this is the progression using angle, right? But now only I will read what the question wants. So let's read what the question wants. Determine whether the total distance traveled, this is very important, total distance traveled of the pendulum swings exceeds 700 cm when the pendulum stops. I think I need to write a new progression now, right? I think I need to write a new progression, and the new progression is for the total distance traveled. Okay, why? Because now they are asking whether your total distance traveled exceeds 700 cm. So if I want to know the total distance traveled, I need to find the SN. But I need to find SN using the distance traveled punya progression. Bukan yang ni punya progression. Because this one progression is the angle, right? That's why I need to form a new progression for distance traveled. Okay. So what is the distance traveled during the first swing? It will be from here to here. That is the distance traveled, not 20. 20 is not the distance traveled. 20 is just the radius. Okay, you can call it the radius of sector, because this looks like a sector. So the total distance traveled will be this, which is the arc, right? Because if you look at this is actually a sector. So how do we find the arc length? The arc length will be the distance traveled. So the arc formula is r theta, right? R theta. So it will be 20 times with theta, but ayo, it means I have to convert all this to radian. Ayo, so much work. So okay lah, do it lah. Okay, so it will be 20 times 70, but the 70 have to convert to radian. So I have to times 3.142 divide 180. Okay, and then the next term will be the next term, the radius will still be 20 because the 20 won't change, but this time it will be 67.2 times 3.142 divided 180, right? But I think you write 2 terms is enough lah. Okay, at least 2 terms, right? You need to write at least 2 terms, so, because the formula for R is T2 divided T1, right? So now, okay, before I write the AR, I need to calculate first. So let's tekan all this in my calculator. 70 times 3.142 divided 180 and then times 20. Okay, 24.44. 24.44. So that will be the first arc. Okay, first arc. Or you can say this is the distance traveled during the first swing lah. Okay, but distance traveled in this case is the length of arc, right? Okay, next one. 67.2 times 3.142 divided 180 and then times 20. Okay, my calculator give me 23.46. So for the second swing, the distance traveled, the length of arc is 23.46. And then it will keep going, right? So what is the A? The A will be 24.44 and the R will be 23.46 divide 24.44. Let me press. I get 0.9599, which is 0.96. Oh, surprisingly, it's the same with this. So yeah, but I think to be safe, you have to do it again also, right? Just to be safe, right? Because sometimes when you use the formula, it will change the R also. So, okay, but since it's the same, now we can proceed to find the SN lah. Because they want to determine whether the total of the pendulum string exceeds 700 cm when the pendulum stops. When it stops. So actually, you are not finding the SN. You are finding the S infinity actually, right? Because your R is 0.96. So, when it stops, because your R now is lesser than 1, can you see? If your R is lesser than 1, it means what? Do you remember my explanation just now? If your R is lesser than 1, it means 0 point something. What happens if you increase the power? The whole thing here will be 0, right? So what you're finding now is actually the S infinity. Okay, you're not finding Sn actually, because if you want it until it stops, you will never get how do I say it? Okay lah, it means you want to find S infinity lah, because you want until it stops. Okay, so it means you will do S infinity now, and the formula you use will be A over 1 minus R. So I will continue down here. So it will be A, which is 24.44 over 1 minus R, which is like this, right? And then we press all this, it will get the answer, right? 24.44 divide bracket 1 minus 0.96 close bracket. Okay, my calculator give me 611, right? It means the 611 cm is the total distance traveled by the pendulum until it stops. Okay, it means the total distance traveled, it will approach 611 cm. That's what it means. But the question asked me determine whether the total distance traveled exceeds 700 cm. So I will say no lah. No, it will not exceed 700 cm because 611 is still less than 700. So we will say dot 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 no, comma, the total distance traveled. Okay, this one I'll write less than 700 cm. And then I was afraid, no, the total distance travel by pendulum will not exceed tidak akan melebihi 700 cm. Okay, so this is how you get full mark, right? This is how to do this question. Okay. Okay, let's do number 5. Okay, what is this? I think it's coordinate geometry. Diagram 5 shows a rhombus. Hey, what is rhombus? Rhombus means a square yang sudah disengetkan, right? Yang sudah disengetkan. So, there will still have 4 same side. The distance is still same. And what you have to know for rhombus is atas bawah akan parallel and then sama panjang. And then kiri kanan also will be same length and parallel. Okay, drawn on the Cartesian plan, the equation for diagonal AC is this. Okay, you need to know this word diagonal. What is diagonal? Diagonal means, let's say I have a rhombus. Okay, let's say I have a pentagon. So what is diagonal? Diagonal is the corner to corner punya line. So for example, this corner and this corner, when you garnish this line, we call it diagonal. All right. Then what about this to this? Yeah, this is also diagonal. What about this corner to this corner? Yep, it's also diagonal. What about this corner to this corner? Yep, it's also diagonal. What about this corner to this corner? Yep, it's also diagonal. Right? Then what about this? This one also corner to corner, ma. Okay, no. This one is not diagonal. This one is corner to corner, but this one is not diagonal. It becomes the side already. So this one we don't call it diagonal. So we have how many diagonal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inside this pentagon, right? So let's erase this. So now imagine it's a rhombus. How many diagonal you have? Only 2. Because if it's a if it's a rhombus, it means 4 sides same length, right? It means the diagonal will be here to here and here to here. Okay, and I need you to know something. These two diagonals will intersect at a 90 degree if it's a rhombus. Okay, if it's a rhombus, it means it's like a diamond shape, right? Like a diamond. So when you tarik, it will be 90 degree here, all right? And also, these two diagonal will intersect at this point, right? And this point will be the midpoint of, okay, let's call this PQRS. Let's call this PQRS. So let me repeat one more time. The two diagonal will intersect at this point, and this point will be the midpoint of PR and also the midpoint of QS. All right. I repeat one more time. These two diagonal will intersect at this, and it will be midpoint of PR and QS. All right. Why I want to mention this is because this is exam really like to ask this, right? So okay, exam really like to ask, like they give you 3 points and then ask you to find this point. This point tak bagi. And then what you should do is you should use the midpoint. The midpoint of PR equals midpoint of QS, and then you compare, then you will get this R answer. So the exam really like to ask this type of question. Okay, so make sure you know that. Okay, let's erase this. Oh, and by the way, if it's parallelogram, you can also take midpoint equals to midpoint, right? Even if it's parallelogram, right? You can also take the midpoint of this point and this point equals to midpoint, right? If you get stuck, you cannot do that in a parallelogram ataupun rhombus. We always do it like that, right? Okay, let me erase this. Okay, now we continue our labeling. The equation for diagonal AC is y minus 2x plus 2. So the diagonal is AC. So let's write here. Okay, why not we change to linear form, right? Y equals mx plus c. So it will be minus 2x become 2x plus 2 become minus 2. Why I change to linear form? So that I can know the gradient of this line and the y-intercept of this line. So now I know the gradient of this line is 2 and the y-intercept is negative 2, which is here, right? But I don't think I have to label that. So I'll just leave it like this. And then A says find value of P and Q. Okay, how to find P and Q? This one, right? Okay, how do we do this question? Let's think. Okay, can we use gradient? The answer is no, right? You can't use gradient because even if you find the gradient of this line, you can find the gradient of this line because you have 2 coordinate, and the gradient of this line will be same with this, right? But you don't have C coordinate, and also now your D coordinate is like X coordinate pun tak tahu, Y coordinate pun tak tahu. So actually you can't use a gradient. So actually, the only way to do it now is use midpoint. Okay, you will do midpoint equals midpoint, but there's a big problem here because I don't have point C, right? If I have point C, I can find the midpoint of AC and then take the midpoint of AC equals midpoint of BD. It means it will be 0 plus P divide 2 equals to the X coordinate here, and then 3 plus Q equals to this coordinate. So actually, there's a big problem, right? But I know for sure I need to find using midpoint. There's no other way, right? So what I'll do is I will tambah satu line here, even though the question never say, I will just tambah myself, right? And remember, this line is also a diagonal, and they will intersect at this point, right? And this point will be the midpoint of AC, and it will also be the midpoint of BD, right? But if they give me point A, point B, point C, then it's very easy to find point D because I can just find the midpoint easily by using A and C point, and then take the midpoint equals to BD midpoint. But the problem is I don't have point C, so I can't find the midpoint. So now I get stuck here already. So how? Okay, I think I know how to do it. There's actually another way to find midpoint, right? There's actually another way to find midpoint. What's the other way to find midpoint? Okay. Of course, if you can find midpoint, you can take the point A and point C, and then take x plus x divide 2, y plus y divide 2, right? But the problem is I don't have point C, so I have to use another method to find midpoint. And which other method? Simultaneous equation. I will take AC equation and the BD equation, and I will do simultaneous, right? Because if you look at this point, it's actually the intersection point of the diagonal AC and BD, right? So what is AC equation? Y equals 2x minus 2, and I need my BD equation now, which is very easy because I told you already, if this is a rhombus, 4 sides, it will intersect at a 90 degree, right? And please tell me, if the AC gradient is 2, what will be the BD gradient? BD gradient times with AC gradient will be -1 because it's 90 degree. They are perpendicular. So when perpendicular, immediately you will use this formula, m1 times m2 equals -1. And I already know my AC gradient is 2 from the equation. So to get my BD equation is just -1/2, right? So this is my gradient BD. But in order to find the equation of BD, I also need the y-intercept, which they give already. It's 3. So the BD equation will be y equals -1/2x plus 3. Okay? So what we do now is we will do simultaneous. This will be my equation 1, this will be my equation 2. Why I do like that? Because I want to find the midpoint. Okay, because I can't find midpoint using the midpoint formula. That's why I have to think of another way, which is by using simultaneous. Take this one, and do simultaneous because I'm finding the intersection point, right? So what we do now is I will continue here. I will write y equals to y, right? Because this one is y equals, this one y equals, so both is y. So I can just use substitution method. So it will be 2x minus 2 equals to negative 1 over 2x plus 3. And now I can find my x coordinate. Negative 2 move there, become 3 plus 2, 5, minus 1 over 2 become plus 2 plus 2, 2 plus 1 over 2, 5 over 2x. So my x will be 5 times 2 divided 5, which is 2. So it means the x coordinate of of this point is actually 2, this intersection point. And now how to find the y coordinate? You will just Ganti inside the equation 1 or equation 2. Let's Ganti into equation 1, 2x minus 2, this is 2, and then you end up with 2 times 2, 4, 4 minus 2, 2. So now we already know this point. This intersection point is 2, 2. And now I can find point D easily, right? Because now I have midpoint already. So in order to find PQ, is very simple. Use midpoint. Now we use midpoint formula. So what is the midpoint? 2, 2, right? So the formula for midpoint is like this. Let's write down the midpoint formula. Midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 divide 2, and then y1 plus y2 divide 2, right? So what you will write here is x1 plus x2 divide 2, and then y1 plus y2 divide 2. So it will be 0 plus p divide 2, and 3 plus q divide 2. All right, but we have the midpoint already, which is 2, 2. So even though we don't know PQ, it's fine. We can compare and find the PQ later, right? So how do we compare? Of course, the x coordinate, you compare the x coordinate with x coordinate, the y coordinate with y coordinate. So the x coordinate here is p over 2, and then equals to 2. And then the y coordinate here is 3 plus q over 2 equals 2. So the p now is 2 times 2, which is 4, and then q will be 2 times 2, which is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. So now the p and q is 4, 1. So the point D now is 4, 1. Okay, so this is how you do it, right? Okay, but I don't think you have to write D41 like that. I don't think you have to write like that because they ask you to find P and Q, right? If they say find point D, then only I write like this. Okay, so this is your final answer for A. Now we do B. B, you want to find area of rhombus of ABCD. If you want to find area of rhombus, you will use the 1 over 2 modulus formula. But before you do that, you have to make sure you have all the points of the vertex, which is A, B, C, D. All these points you need to have. If don't have, you cannot find area. So do we have A, B, C, D? Point A got, point A sudah ada, point B sudah ada, point D pun sudah ada, but point C tak ada. So I cannot find the area now. I need to find point C first. How to find point C? Well, very simple. Use the midpoint formula again. So point C I don't have. Let's call it XY. So you use the midpoint formula. Bracket, line, line, and then divide 2, divide 2. So this is the midpoint formula. And the formula is what? X plus X divide 2, Y plus Y divide 2. But you don't take 2 plus X divide 2. No lah, cannot. If you take 2 plus X divide 2, you are using this midpoint already, which is not correct. Actually, you should take negative 1 plus X divide 2. Like that. And then negative 4 plus Y divide 2. And this whole thing equals the midpoint. And the midpoint is 2, 2. So 2, 2 will be here. Or you want to write 2, 2 at the back also can. Okay, now let's go down and find our xy. So x coordinate compare with x coordinate. So negative 1 plus x divide 2 equals 2. And then y coordinate compare with y coordinate. So negative 4 plus y divide 2 equals to 2. So what is x here? 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. So finally, I get my point C, which is 5, 8. Right? So after I get my point C, now only I try to find the area. Right? So the area of ABCD rhombus will be 1 over 2 modulus, and you will put in all the points inside, right? So let's start with, okay, you can start with any point you want, right? So let's use point B lah. Actually, you want to start with A, B, C, D, that can also, but let's start with 0, 3, okay? And then after you start with 0, 3, next one, if you want to start with 0, 3, make sure the next one you don't write 4, 1. Don't do that because I'm finding the area for this. So you have to make sure the next line dia ada sambung. So you either write C or you write A, but you cannot write D because if you write D, later you will go like this and then like this already. You will get something like this. So it's wrong already. So make sure you go B. After you write B, you can write either C or A, right? But let's write A. So negative 1, negative 4. And then next one, I must write D, 4, 1. And then the last one, point C, I have to write 5, 8. It means you can start from any point you want, but make sure the following point, the next point is the line, the outside line. It means the other join baru boleh tulis. Alright. So if you start from A, make sure the next one you write B or D. Don't write C. Right. It can be A, B, C, D or A, D, C, B. Okay. But the one I write is B, A, D, C lah, which works also, right? Because it's the other join outside. Okay. So that's what it means. Don't go inside. Okay. If you go inside later, it's wrong. Okay. Before you close the modulus, you have to repeat the first one, which is 0.3. That's the formula. Okay. Now you can do 1/2 modulus and then you will darab lah. Okay. When you darab, how you darab? You will darab silang, right? And you will take 0 times -4 first. 0 times -4 is 0, so tak payah tulis. And then plus -1 times 1, -1, and then plus 4 times 8, 32, and then plus 5 times 3, 15, and then minus. Why suddenly minus? Because I changed direction. 3 times -1, -3. Means minus bracket -3, and then minus -4 times 4, -16, and then minus again. 1 times 5, 5, right? So let's erase this. Okay, minus, and then 5 is 5, and then minus the last one, 8 times 0, 0, but 0 tak payah tulis. Minus 0, no need to write, right? So that's all. Now 1/2 modulus. Now press all these inside the calculator. So let me press. -1 plus 32 plus 15 plus 3 plus 16 minus 5. Okay, my calculator give me 30. 30. So 30 is the what? Is the inside punya jumlah lah. Wait, did I press it correctly? Let's press again. -1 plus 32 plus 15 plus 3 plus 16 minus 5. It's 60. This one I silap tekan. This one 32, I go and tekan 2 at first. So actually it's 32, not 2. So actually this one is 60, sorry. So now you end up with 1/2. Modulus 60 is just 60, and then divide 2 is 30. And it will be unit square lah, because it's area. Okay, so that's all done. Okay, number 6. They want me to prove cos 2x equals to 1 minus 2 sine square. 2 marks only. So I will do the working here maybe. So let's write down the soalan. Cos 2x equals to 1 minus 2 sine square x. So they want me to prove, right? Okay, when we prove, you can choose either to start from the left-hand side, or we can also choose to start from the right-hand side. You can choose any side you want. Okay, if you start from the right-hand side, you will make sure your last working will be the left hand side lah. But if you start from left hand side, then your last working will be the right hand side. Okay, so let's start from right hand side. Okay, because right hand side I see got square. Got square means can use basic identity. So let's write down all the basic identity you need to hafal. So do you remember what's basic identities? The first one, sine square x plus cos square x equals 1. The next one, 1 plus 1 plus tangent square equals to sec square. 1 plus tangent square or 1 plus sec square? Okay, actually I also don't remember. Okay, let's go back to the this one they got give in formula one. So where is it? Here. Yeah, 1 plus tangent square equals to sec square, and then 1 plus cos square, these three. These are the basic identity. So 1 plus tan square equals sec square. Okay, so let's come back here. So 1 plus tangent square equals sec square, and then one more basic identity, 1 plus cot square equals to cosec square. But I don't think I'll be using this one and this one. I think I'll just be using this one, right? So how do we prove this? This is the left hand side. We start from the this one is the right hand side. Okay, we start from the right hand side. So let's write down. Okay, let's write again. Okay, let's write like this. Let's write right hand side. Okay, so I will write right hand side, which is 1 minus 2 sine square x, and then I will try to change this so that it's the left hand side. Okay, first thing first, 1 minus 2 sine square. 1 is actually sine square plus cos square, so just write sine square x. Okay, no. Okay, just change the sine square lah. Just change the sine square, because sine square is actually what? 1 minus cos square, right? 1 minus cos square. Okay. Oh, by the way, I have to use the basic identity formula, but I also need the double angle formula, right? Because I'm trying to make my answer cos 2x. It means I'll be using cos 2x, means I'll use the formula for double angle. So, okay, cos 2x formula got 3. You can change to cos square x minus sine square x. You can also change to 1 minus 2 sine square. You can also change to 2 cos square x minus 1. But you cannot use this, because this one is in the question already. So you have to either change it to this or this one, right? Because if you change to this, means you're working tak ada, I mean you never write any working already. So it's either this or this lah. Okay, now we continue. So 1 minus, okay, these two you will expand, it become -2. Negative times negative become positive 2 cos square x. And then 1 minus 2 is -1 plus 2 cos square x, which is 2 cos square x minus 1. Okay, it's the same thing. I just write this in front. And then 2 cos square x minus 1 is actually the cos 2x, right? So now it's proven already lah, right? 2 cos square x minus 1 is actually cos 2x. So I think you can do it like this, right? So now this is the right hand side, and then we can write ... proven. Okay. Okay, so sudah siap. Now we do B. Okay, let's make this smaller. Okay, B. Okay, B says what? The figure below shows the graph of a trigo function for 0 until 2 pi. So this is 0, this is 2 pi. And this is very obvious. It's a cos graph. Sine graph is not like this. Sine graph is like a wave one. So this is definitely the cos graph. So A says what? First question, write the equation of graph of the trigo function. So how do we write this? Okay, we already know it's cos x, right? But cos how many x? Okay, if we want to know this number, we have to determine the number of cycle in 360. So how many cycle in 360? 2 cycle, right? 2 underwear. So cos 2x. And then the pan is the amplitude. What is the amplitude? 1. So 1 no need to write. Okay. And then if we look at this, we don't have to write plus minus anything. Because the plus minus, we only write it when the whole graph got moved up. Okay. The whole graph dinaikkan ataupun diturunkan, then only there will be plus. Let me tell you how I can straight away know this one tak ada plus minus. Just look at this number and this number. If these two numbers have the same value but different sign, then it means the whole graph never shift up, shift down. So this is 1, -1, right? It means this whole graph tak ada naik, tak ada turun pun. Okay. But if let's say this one is 2, but this one is -1, then you know something happened already, right? Or maybe 2, but -3. Or maybe like 4, -2, then you know something wrong. But if you see 3, -3, 4, -4, 5, -5, 6, -6, 7, -7, it means you don't have to write plus minus anything here. Okay, if these two numbers is the same, right? So this is the answer. You get 1 mark for this. Okay, so that's how you do it. What about B? Second question, by using the same axis, okay, this axis, sketch the graph of y equals modulus sine x for 0 until 2 pi, find the number of solution. So I want to sketch this graph and then find number of solution, which is the number of intersection point. Okay, if we want to sketch this, we have to make sure we know how the sine graph looks like. The sine graph looks like this. Go up, go down like this. And then this will be 2 pi. And then this will be 0. The amplitude will be 1, -1. But they want modulus sine x. So let's use red color. Modulus means yang bawah akan reflect atas. Tapi yang atas still stay dekat atas. So which one is the answer? The red color one. So now let's draw the red color one in the same axis. Okay, by using same axis. So the point will be here. And then it will go up. And this will be pi, right? So it will go up until pi and go up again. And the level here is until 1. Maximum value is 1. So I will go, okay, let's draw a dotted line here also. And there will be a point here. Okay, so let's go. So it will go up like this. Oops. Let's draw it one more time. So it will go up like this. Like this. Okay, it's supposed to be like this, right? But since it's modulus, that's why the whole thing reflect up like this. It was so ugly. But please don't draw like this. No. The curve is like this one, all right? So like this, right? Aiyo. Let's draw from here. Oops. Yeah. Wait. So this is the equation for y equals modulus sine x, and then the atas one is the equation for cos 2x. Okay. So remember, if the line is like this, when you reflect up, it will not look like this. Okay, please. If it look like this, when you reflect, you get something like this. All right. Okay, I think done already. This is the part 1, which is sketch the graph. So let's sketch. Find the number of solutions. So I'll write ... The number of solution, NOS, equals to how many? Okay, find the intersection point. The cos x graph and the modulus sine x graph, they intersect at where? Cos 2x. Intersect here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one, no. This one is not the intersection point. This one is the x-intercept. Okay, so it's just 4. So the number of solution is 4. Okay, so that's it. Okay, let's continue with number 7. I think this is differentiation. Diagram 7 shows a solid block consisting of a right cone. So this is a cone. Is located above cylinder of radius RCM. I think the radius cylinder is R. The radius of cone is also R, right? Because they are joined together. And then the length of slanted length means the sangat punya line. So the sangat punya line for cone is 2R. Okay, they already labeled for me, and this should be 2R also, right? Yeah. And then the volume of the whole cylinder is 81 pi. So let's write down. I'm sure this will be useful later on. So volume of cylinder only, it means pi r square h lah. Okay, straight away write down pi r square h equals to 81 pi, because the formula for volume of cylinder is pi r square h, right? But the r they never give, they just put r, and then the height of cylinder also they never mention, but the height of cylinder would be this, right? Okay, before I start to do anything, we read A first. Show that the surface area of block L, means the whole thing, is given by this, right? Okay, for soalan A, they want me to find surface area. Okay, when we find surface area of cone and take the surface area of cylinder, the formula I use will be, for cylinder punya surface area, it will be 2 pi r square plus 2 pi r h. Okay, because cylinder consists of two round surface, that's why it's pi r square plus pi r square, 2 pi r square, and the formula for this rectangle will be 2 pi r h, right? And then for cone, it will be pi r square plus pi r s, because the cone surface consists of this and this. This circle punya area is pi r square, and then this curved surface is pi r s, right? But you don't have to find this surface, because when you find surface area, you don't need to find surface, you only need to find the outside surface. It means instead of taking 2 pi r square, you take pi r square. Instead of taking pi r square plus pi r s, you just take pi r s. It means your formula is actually just this. It means it's actually pi r square plus 2 pi r h plus with the cone curve punya part, which is pi r s. You will not plus with the, but the full formula for surface area of cone is pi r square plus pi r s, but you don't need to plus this because the 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 round surface is not outside. You only find the outside surface, right? So now you can erase all this, right? But if you look at this very carefully, they want you to show, right? They want you to show. It means they already give you the final answer. Your final answer should look like this. And if you look carefully, the answer is L in terms of R. Oh, I think I should use L also, right? Because they use L, so I think I'll use L also. So L represents surface area, right? So now, if you look at the answer yang dia nak kita nak kita buat is like L in terms of R, but my one is like L in terms of R and in terms of H, right? And also got the S, but the S we actually know it already lah. The S is actually 2R, okay? Because the slanted height, S stands for slanted height, is 2R, all right? So now my job is what? Is need to find H lah. You know why? Because this one is in terms of R, in terms of I, in terms of R only. But now my one got H, so I have to find H. But how to find H? Use volume punya information lah. Use this one lah. You use this one to find H, then only you can sub inside here. Then only you can find your surface area in terms of R. So how to find H? 81 pi divide pi r square. Cut, left with 81 over r square. And why I find H? So that I can substitute inside here, becomes 2 pi r. The H will be 81 over r square. And then plus with pi r times 2r will be 2 pi r square, right? 2 pi r square plus pi r square will be 3 pi r square. And then this one, can you cut? Can, but just the r only with this. So you just left with 81 times 2 pi, which is, okay, let's press 81 times 2. Okay, 162. So 162, but don't forget to write the pi and then over r, right? But it's still not like this yet. So what you do is you factorize lah. So can you see they factorize out the 3 pi? So you also take out the 3 pi lah. So what happens when you take out 3 pi? You're left with r square. And then 162 pi, when you take out 3 pi, what happens? It means you will take 162 pi, divide 3 pi. What is 162 divide 3? 54. Okay, if you press calculator, you will get 54. And then you don't have to write the pi anymore, because the pi you already take it out. And then over r. So this is exactly the same as this, right? So now you can write the word shown. Okay, if they ask you to write show, you have to write shown. So this and this is the working for A. Okay, now we do B. Okay, let's scroll down a bit. Okay, let's look at B. Calculate the minimum value for the surface area of the block in terms of pi. The word here, the keyword here is minimum. So if it's a differentiation question and you see this word, minimum, maximum, turning point, what you will do? Differentiate equals 0. Please remember this. All right. Differentiation actually got how many types of question? First type, we call it tangent normal type. This one where they ask you to find gradient, tangent, gradient, normal, equation, tangent, equation, normal. Second type of differentiation question is what? Minimum, maximum turning point. This type of question, what you will do is you will take differentiation equals 0. Right? After you differentiate equals 0, because if you're finding the turning point, the gradient of tangent will be 0. It means dy dx equals 0. This is the second type of question. Third type of question, what do you call it? ROC, rate of change. Dalam bahasa Melayu, kadar perubahan. This one is like the over dt, and then equal darab, and then that one. And then the fourth type, we call it small change. Small change. What is small change? Small change, you will use the symbol delta. Okay, like for example, small change in y, then delta y. And then the formula you use will be dy dx almost equals to delta y over delta x. All right, this one is the fourth one. And then the fifth type of question is limit. Okay, limit. Okay, so definitely the second, the B question is which type of question? Type 1, type 2, type 3, or type 4? Type 2, right? Because they want to find minimum. So what you will do now is you differentiate equals 0. But you differentiate which equation? Dia kata siapa minimum? Minimum of surface area, right? Means surface area punya equation differentiate equals 0, right? If dia kata minimum value of area, then you differentiate area equation equals 0. If they say minimum value of perimeter, then you differentiate perimeter punya equation equals 0. If they say minimum value of surface area, then you differentiate the surface area equation equals 0. So what happens now? You will have to differentiate. So where should I do my B working? I don't have space. I think I will do it here, right? So you should differentiate your surface area punya equation, which is your A answer, because your A is actually the surface area, right? So your your L equation, that is your surface area. So let's take your L, but I will not take this L. I will take this L, right? I'll take this L. Later you'll understand why. So why I take this L? So L equals to 3 pi r square. And instead of writing 162 pi over r, I'll write 162 pi r minus 1. Okay, why not take this L? Why not take this L? This is also L, right? They are both L, they are actually the same thing. But why take this one? Because before you differentiate, you have to make sure kalau boleh expand, kena expand. And also tak boleh ada R dekat bawah. So the R, that's why I move it up like this. Right? So now you understand. Okay, now you differentiate and then equals 0 later. Okay, when you differentiate, you write dl dr. Okay, because it's L in terms of R. So when you differentiate this, the power have to times with number and then power minus 1. So 2 times 3 pi will be 6 pi, and then power minus 1 will be 6 pi r. And then negative 1 times 162, power times number will be negative 162, and then the power minus 1 will be r minus 2 like this. Right? Now you end up with 6 pi r minus 162 pi. The r power negative 2, you can bring it down, become r power 2. And then the whole thing equals 0. Right? Why equals 0? Because minimum, right? But what if they say maximum? Same also. If they say maximum, you also do the differentiate equals 0. Same. Minimum, maximum turning point, cara dia sama, right? And now you can find your R. Alright. So how to find your R? You can pindah the whole negative to the other side here, so it becomes what? So it becomes like 162 pi over R square, because the whole thing move here become positive, and then equals to 6 pi R. Okay, and then now you can pindah the r square. So it becomes 6 pi r power 3 equals to 162 pi. Okay, the pi and pi can cut. Why can cut? Because when you pindah, the pi becomes dy, and then pi and pi cut already. Now you left with r power 3 equals to 162 divided 6. You can press calculator. Okay, the calculator give me 27. And then now you can find your r is cube root 27. So your r is 3 cm, right? But is this the answer? Okay, now you have to read the question. If the question says find value of r, then this is the answer. But if they say find value of L, then it means you still have to take the 3 and ganti masuk into the original equation to find L. So let's see what the question wants. Let's scroll up. So calculate the minimum value for area. Means for L, surface area is represented by L. So calculate minimum value of L for the block in terms of pi. So obviously, they don't want the R minimum. They want the L minimum. So how to find the L minimum? Just take the 3 cm ganti inside this equation, right? So I'll write here, when r equals to 3, L equals to 3 pi r square plus 162 pi. R minus 1 means over r. And then this one is 3, this one is 3. But they got mentioned in terms of pi. So don't press the pi. So 3 square is 9, 9 and 3, 27 pi. Don't press the pi. And then 162 divide 3, what you get? Let's press. 54. So it's just 54 pi. And then what is 54 pi plus 27 pi? You press calculator, you should get what? Wait, 54 plus 27. So what do you get? 81, right? 81. And I think you have to write the pi also, right? So this is the answer. Okay, this one I think you have to write cm square lah, because it's surface area. So just put bracket cm square. Okay, this is how you do B, right? So in terms of pi, 3 marks. Okay, now we do C. C says what? It is given that L is increasing at a rate. Okay, you already know which type of question. Rate. So type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4. Which type? Type 3, right? Which is the rate of change question. Okay, how do you rate of change question? First, we have to write down all the information yang dia bagi dekat the first baris is you write down all the information. So what is the information? L increasing at the rate. The moment when you see rate means over dt. Okay, and then atas will be dl because they say L increasing at the rate. So it'll be 63 pi lah. Okay, but if they say decrease, then you have to put negative. Right? So L increasing rate 63 pi means dl dt 63 pi. And then comma, find increasing rate of radius. It means I want to find dr dt. Right? Because rate ma, so over dt lah, and then radius dr. So this one is the question mark. Okay, when the radius is 6 cm means r equals to 6. Okay, so whenever we do rate of change, the first step is always write down the information like this, and then the next step is what? Siapa masih ingat? How I teach you in class. Kosong satu space dekat sini, and then tulis apa? Line equals to line darab line. Do you remember this? And then I always teach students always to write here and here first. Here and here will be what? It will always be dt, right? It will always be dt. That's how I teach you, right? And then I say what? Sini dengan sini mesti sama, sini dengan sini mesti sama, right? Now, look at the information. dt, I already write here. So, what's left? dl and dr. So, do you think it's dl, dr ataupun dr? Mestilah dl. Sebab kalau you tulis dr, then this thing becomes dr over dl, which is very funny because your equation is L in terms of R. So of course it will be dl. Sini sama, and then sini sama, like that, right? And then now you put in the information. dl dt 63 pi, write it in. dl dr so far don't have, but it's okay. And then dr dt is what you want for the final answer. So if this is what you want at the end, then what you have to find now? It means what you have to find now? dl dr. But how to find dl dr? There, dl dr, this one. Okay, your dl dr is this one, right? But they got say r has to be 6. It means your dl dr will be 6 pi r, and then the r ganti with 6 minus 162. Okay, let's draw a line here to separate them. So it's 162 pi over r square, which is over 6 square. Because the r power negative 2, you can move it down, become r square. And then now you calculate this. 6 times 6 is 36 pi. And then 162 divide 6 square is 162 divide 36. You can quickly press. You will end up with 9 over 2, which is 9 over 2 pi. And then the 9 over 2 pi, you still have to take 36 minus 9 over 2, right? So wait, did I do it correctly? Yes. So 36 minus 9 over 2, I get 63 over 2, and don't forget to write the pi. 63 over 2 pi. So this one is this is the dl dr. So the dl dr can put it in here, and now you can find your dr dt, which is 63 pi divide 63 pi over 2. It means times 2 over 63 pi, right? It means the 2 duduk bawah means bahagi, so bahagi jadi times, and then the atas 63 pi becomes duduk bawah. Pi and pi can cut, 63 and 63 can cut. Now your dr dt you can find. So what is your dr dt? It's 2 lah. Okay, but write the unit. So what's the unit? Okay, radius is in cm, and then time is in second, but I have to write -1 because dia duduk bawah, right? So if you look at the volume also, they got right. You see, I mean the rate, the area punya rate is cm square per second, but my one is radius, so it will be cm per second, right? So this is how you do soalan C. Okay, no problem. Okay, for my last question D, I don't have space, so how? I think I'll just do it here lah. Okay, I think enough space. Yeah. Okay, just do it here. If it's not enough, I write down here. Okay, D. Find the small change in small change, perubahan kecil. Which type of question? Type 4. So this question actually they ask a lot of type of question in one question. Okay, so differentiation, they ask small change. And what is the small change formula? You have to memorize dy dx equals to delta y delta x. Okay, of course, if it's dl dr, then it will be delta l delta r lah. But first step is always write down the information yang dia bagi dulu. So apa information yang dia bagi? Find small change in L. Small change, we use delta symbol. So it means they want to find delta L. And then they say R increases from 6 to 6.02. It means the original value of R is 6. This is the old value. And the new value for R is 6.002. So if we have the new value and old value, can I find the delta R? Can I find the small change in R? Yes. Just take the new value, tolak the old value, which is 0.002. And now, after writing down the information, it's time to use the formula. What's formula? dl dr. Okay, I write down here. Okay. dl dr is almost equals to delta L over delta R, right? But you can see I leave a lot of empty space here. Later you will know why. Okay, delta R is 0.002. Delta L is my final answer. This is what I want to find at the end. So what I have to find now? DLDR lah. I have to find DLDR. But let me ask you, can I put DLDR equals to 63 over 2 pi? Can I use the last question punya DLDR 63 over 2 pi? Can I write the 63 over 2 pi here? The answer is cannot. Okay, actually can lah, can. Because kebetulan, okay, because when you find the DLDR, you have to make sure your DLDR, like this, it will be in terms of R, and you have to make sure the R have to substitute with the original value, which is the old value of R. So what is the old value now? 6, right? So that's why you have to masuk R6, then only you can write here. And kebetulan for your C question also just now you masuk 6. That is why the 63 over 2 pi boleh masuk sini, right? But you have to be careful because not every time the value you sub in your previous question is the same with the new question, right? So for this C question, they actually sub with 6 also because the R is 6 also for the C. Okay, but let's say this one is R is 2. Then the DLDR here cannot be used here already because the R here, you have to use 6 to ganti inside your DLDR. But of course, this question is same, that's why you can do that. Okay, so the working can actually continue from here. Okay, this one you continue from here. Okay, now you can find your delta L. Just press. Okay, do I have to press the pi? No need lah, I think. Okay, the question never mentioned, right? They never say in terms of pi, but I think it's better if you just keep the pi, right? Okay, so just press 63 divide 2 times 0.002. So you will get 0.063, but the pi is there. The pi is still there, right? So this is the answer. Okay, this one is the small change. So in area, so I think you can write cm square like that, right? Yeah, so that's how you do it. Okay, sudah siap. Okay, let's do bahagian B now. Okay, bahagian B, they want me to jawab 3 soalan, alright? But I will jawab all of it. Yeah, all of it I will jawab, right? But in exam, you will only choose 3 lah. But since I'm doing this for revision purpose, so I'll do all of it. Okay, let's do number 8. Diagram 8 shows a parallelogram. The exam really like to ask parallelogram. It's either a parallelogram, rhombus. These are like the exam 2 favorite shape. Okay, they like to ask this in coordinate geometry and vector. Like just now also they got ask one rhombus question, right? Okay lah, I'm too lazy to scroll back, but you can tengok sendiri lah. Tapi tadi ada satu soalan rhombus. Okay, this parallelogram means OC and AB parallel, okay, and not just parallel, they are same length, and then AO and BC parallel, okay, and bukan saja parallel, they are same length. And then they say O is the origin, which means O is 0, 0. Vector AB is 15i plus 3j, so vector A to B. So the arrow have to point to B, and then here you write 15i plus 3j, right? It means this is coordinate vector lah. It means what is vector OC, by the way? What is vector OC? 15i plus 3j also lah. Why? Why they have the same vector? Because they are parallel and sama panjang. Because parallel and sama panjang, that's why you can take the 2 vector equal. But if the 2 vector parallel tapi tak sama panjang, then cannot. Dia kena parallel and panjang sama, but at the same time baru kita boleh salin vector dia exactly sama. Okay. What is I represents? I is for pergerakan yang kiri kanan. J is for pergerakan yang atas bawah. So 15i plus 3j, what it means is the vector is going 15 to the right and then 3 to the up. Means 15 kotak ke kanan and then 3 kotak ke atas. It means I go 15 kotak ke kanan and then 3 kotak to atas. That's what it means. right? So can I find point C? Actually, I can, because from O to C, if I want to find vector OC, it means I'll take the C coordinate minus the O coordinate. But if my O coordinate is 0, 0, then this will automatically be 15, 3, right? Because 15 minus 0 is 15i, 3 minus 0 is 3j. Okay, that's what it means. Now tell me, can I find point A? Can I find point A? Yes. Because from here to here is 15, 3, right? So what number plus 15 is 5? 5 minus 15, which is negative 10. Because you want to find, because this vector AB actually come from B coordinate minus A coordinate, because it's A to B, right? So it means I can actually take 5 minus negative 10 to get 15, and then 9 minus what is 3? 9 minus 6 is 3. So this one is 6. Faham maksud saya? It means that if you take negative 10 plus 15, you will get 5, and then 6 plus 3 equals 9. Because all this IJ thing is for pergerakan yang kiri, kanan, atas, bawah, right? So you can actually find the coordinate this way. 5 minus 15 dapat negative 10, 10 minus 3 dapat 6, right? Oh, by the way, all this point, the question never even asked me to find. I haven't even done reading the question, but I still will find this question. All right. Whenever I see information, I will try to find whatever I can. I don't care what the question wants. I just find whatever I can. All right. But a lot of students don't have this habit, right? That's why they always complain, not enough information. Okay. But actually, there's a lot of information. It's just that you have to label it and how to say, and find everything you can before you do the question. Now only I read the question. Find unit vector parallel to AB. So I want to find unit vector of AB. So I will write down here unit vector in direction of AB, right? So okay, but let's follow whatever they write here, which is parallel to AB, which is parallel to AB. Okay, there is a formula for unit vector. Do you remember the formula for unit vector? It's 1 over magnitude times with the vector in terms of ij, right? That's the formula for vector, for unit vector. So make sure you remember the formula. So what is the formula? 1 over magnitude times with the vector. Okay, but before you do the unit vector, you have to find the magnitude first, right? That is why I leave all this empty space. Okay, because I know I need the magnitude before finding unit vector. Because the formula for unit vector is 1 over magnitude times vector. So what is the magnitude formula? Okay, magnitude symbol is like this. We will put two lines like this. And the formula for magnitude is square root, bracket square plus bracket square. And what you have to put inside the bracket? The number in front of ij, the coefficient of ij, right? Because you are using Pythagoras theorem, so of course you have to take the I punya kotak, J punya kotak, and then do Pythagoras theorem, right? So what is the coefficient of I and J for vector AB? It will be 15 and 3, right? So now you press all this, and then let's press 15 square plus 3 square. Okay, I get 2, 3, 4. So square root 2, 3, 4. But 2, 3, 4 cannot square root, right? Because when you square root this, it's not a perfect square. So when you square root this, you will get like ugly answer. So what you can do now is simplify. Because 2, 3, 4 can actually simplify. 2, 3, 4 can divide 9, right? Even though 2, 3, 4 is not perfect square, but it can divide with perfect square. So what is the largest perfect square that 2, 3, 4 can divide? 9. Because 2, 3, 4 is 9 times 26. So you can actually simplify this further by writing it like this. Square root 9 times 26. And what is square root 9? 3. And then 26 cannot square root, you just leave it like this, right? So this is the simplest form. So now this magnitude I will write down here, right? And then here you write the vector in terms of ij, which is 15i plus 3j, right? So make sure you remember the formula for unit vector. Okay, now you will expand it. So how you expand it is 15 divide 3, which is 5 over square root 26i. And then 3 divide 3, which is just 1 over square root 26j, right? Okay, so that's the answer for A1. This one A1, right? Okay, for A2, I'll write here. Okay, for A2 working, I'll write here. Okay, find the coordinates of C. I find it already lah. It's 15, 3, right? Okay, but let's show them how I get this. How I get this just now. So vector OC is 15i plus 3j. So therefore C is 15, 3. Yeah. There's nothing, no working lah. This one just common sense only, because O is 0, 0 ma. So if OC vector is this one, then the C coordinate is 15, 3 lah. But only if go from O, you can take out the number like this. If go from A, cannot. Because if go from O, the coordinate is 0, 0. That's why the whatever number here, that will be the coordinate of the destination of the C. Okay. All right. Sudah siap? Now for time to do B. Okay, B, I think I need the diagram, so I'll do it here maybe. Okay, let's do it here. Okay, B. D is a point such that BD equals to HI plus K minus 2J. Definitely will be useful. So let's write it down. BD equals to HI plus bracket K minus 2J. But if you look at the diagram, there's no point D here. There's only point A, B, and O, A, B, C. There's no point D. But they say D is a point such that BD is this. If ABD is collinear, express K in terms of H. The keyword here is collinear. Collinear means what? Segaris. It means ABD is segaris. So A and B is here, and then D must be somewhere in this line, right? Somewhere in the AB line. Because they say ABD is segaris, so maybe it's here, maybe it's here, maybe it's here, maybe it's here, I don't know, but it's somewhere along the line, point D, right? And if it's parallel, what you can do? If ABD is collinear, what you can do? Collinear means parallel lah. Okay, because imagine if you potong this line, BD, and you put beside the AB line. These two lines will be what? It will be parallel, right? So if parallel, what you can do in vector? Dalam dunia vector, kalau dua vector parallel, apa you boleh buat? I teach this in class before. If you have two vectors that are parallel, you can take these two vectors, you can equal them, right? You can equal. Both vector boleh equal, tapi kena tambah K, right? Means these two vector can equal, tapi tambah K. So can you name me two vectors that are parallel here? AB and BD. Of course, you can also say AB and AD, right? But it's better to take AB and BD because BD vector is given. So what you do now is vector AB and vector BD boleh equal. Kenapa boleh equal? Sebab they are parallel. Tapi kena tambah K. But don't use K. Use other alphabet because this one the K already have in the soalan. So later you will get confused if you use K. So let's use M, right? It means you can use any alphabet, just don't use alphabet yang sudah ada dalam soalan, right? And let me tell you, the M is the ratio. M will be the ratio. That's why you have to add M, right? Yeah, that's why you have to tambah satu unknown. And then you have to masuk vector AB and BD inside. What's this vector AB? 15I plus 3J. So just put it in. And then M, BD. BD is what? HI plus K minus 2J. Okay, I think I have to use big bracket here, right? So remember, when two vectors parallel, you memang boleh buat macam tu. Take two vector equal and then tambah satu unknown. Okay, usually I use K, but this question got K already, that's why I use M. Okay, now what you do is you just expand. You just expand the M and then you compare the coefficient of I with coefficient of I, coefficient of J, compare coefficient of J. So let me repeat again. What you do now is you expand and then you compare both coefficient of I and then compare the both coefficient of J. So M times H is MHI and then M times K minus 2, which is Km minus 2M, but the J, I will leave it outside like this, right? Because I want to compare later, I want to compare the J coefficient later. And then this one is just 15I plus 3J. And now you will compare the coefficient of I with coefficient of I, which is 15 equals to MH. And then coefficient of J here is 3. The coefficient of J here is Km minus 2M. So now you can try to find the value of, what they want? K in terms of H, right? So how to find K in terms of H? If we look at this equation, you can only find K in terms of M. So I think I have to find M here first so that I can sub inside here. Then only I can get K in terms of H. So how to find M? 15 over H, right? And then this one I'll continue here. 3 equals to Km minus 2M. And the M, don't write M, you write 15 over H. Now you have an equation yang ada K dengan H. So now you pindah, you can find K in terms of H lah. Okay, before you pindah, what you can do? You can solve this first. 15 times K over H, which is 15 over H, K. And then 2 times 15, which is 30 over H. But I want to find K, right? So the 15 over H, K, I'll leave it here. Minus 30 become plus 30. So 3 plus 30 over H, which is actually 3H plus 30 over H equals to 15 over H, K. So K equals to 3H plus 30 over H. Divide H become times H. Times 15 become divide 15. Cut. Left with K equals to 3H over 15 plus 30 over 15. Which is actually... Okay. Instead of writing it like this, you can also write like this. Just write 3H plus 30 terus over 15. So now it will be what? Okay, 3 and 30 can simplify. Can take out 3, which is H. This one can take out 3, left with 10 and then 15. But why I take out like this? Because I know I can cut. So I left with divide 3, 5. So the answer is H plus 10 over 5. Yep. I think this is the answer. Of course, you can also write H over 5 plus 2. This one and this one is the same thing, right? But I think I will just stop here. Okay. Is this the final answer? Yes. So for B, they want K in terms of H. Yep, that's the answer. Right? So that's all. Now we move on. Question number 9. Let's read the question. I think this is probability distribution from 5 punya chapter. Okay, in a study, it was found that 85% of students in the school own a scientific calculator. So whenever we do probability distribution, we always try to figure out whether it's binomial punya soalan or normal distribution punya soalan. And I can tell you this question is binomial, right? But the bawah one is normal distribution. How I can know it? Because I tengok soalan. If the soalan got perkataan normal, then it's normal distribution. If tak ada perkataan normal, then it's binomial. So this one is binomial because there's no tak ada perkataan normal. But this one, the B question got put the word normal, right? That is why for the B question, normal distribution, they want to have to tengok the jadual, right? But for A, no need. A no need because A is not a normal distribution. If it's binomial distribution, you will not refer the jadual, right? Then what you will do, you will use the binomial punya formula lah. And binomial formula got how many formula? 4 formulas. One formula is the Px equals x equals to ncx r power p power x q power n minus x. This is the first formula, and then second formula is the mean equals to np, variance equals to npq, standard deviation equals to yang tu lah. Okay. So this is the 4 formulas that you will use in binomial, right? But you will have to read the soalan and see which formula they want you to use. Okay. If you want to find probability, then the first formula. Okay. It was found that 85% own a scientific calculator. When they talk about percentage, automatic, it will be the probability. So probability of scientific. So probability own calculator lah. I just write short form because I'm too lazy to write scientific calculator too long already. So what is the probability? 85%, 0.85. So what is the probability of student yang no calculator? It will be 1 minus 0.85, which is 0.15. But which one is the P, which one is the Q? Actually, I don't know. You don't know which one is the P, which one is Q. Because P stands for probability of success, Q stands for probability of failure, but you actually cannot guess. You don't know which one. You have to read until the last baris. Okay? The last baris only you will know which one is P, which one is Q. I teach like this in class also, right? We don't know which one is the P, which one is Q. We don't know which one is success probability, which one is failure probability. Let's keep reading. A sample consisting of 8 students is randomly selected. So this is definitely the N. So I'll write N equals to 8. And then find probably that at least 2, this one don't look at it first, does not own a scientific calculator. They even highlighted it for you. Does not own. It means what will be my P and what will be my Q? My probability of success, it will be probability yang does not own calculator, which is 0.15. And then my Q will be 0.85, right? So remember, whenever, because they want to find probability, so definitely I'll be using this formula. Okay, NCX, P power X, Q power N minus X. But before we use this formula, we need to determine our N, P, and Q first. So my N is 8, P and Q, you cannot assume. Okay, because there's 2 probability. You don't know which one is P, which one is Q. You have to wait until the last baris. You see what they want. If you want to find probability yang does not own, then the does not own punya probability is success lah. If they want to find yang own, then the own calculator probability will be the success. Okay, sampai sini, now you can write your X, right? So what will be your big X? So out of 8 students, maybe none of them success. 0 means 0 success, means tak ada semua orang tak ada success, or maybe satu saja yang success, or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ataupun 8. Apa maksud 8? Means 8 student also success. All 8 students does not own calculator. Okay, success means does not own. So 8 here means 8 student does not own calculator. All right, but they want to find at least 2. At least symbol here is bigger sama dengan. It means what you have to find is PX bigger sama dengan 2, which means the 2 have to include, the 2 have to take. It means you are finding PX equals 2, PX equals 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and take all this probability add together. It means you have to use this formula how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have to use this formula 7 times to find PX equals 2, 3, 4, 5, and then plus all together, which is very slow, right? If you do like that, very slow. So there's a faster way. What is total probability? 1. So you can take 1 minus yang you tak mau. Yang you tak mau is PX equals 0 and PX equals 1. All right. Okay, let me tell you a common mistake. Students always make this mistake. They don't want to write this. And then they straight away do this. And then whenever they do it like this, they will realize they go and minus the PX equals 2 also. All right. Or maybe they forget to minus the 0. Then wrong lah. That's the common mistake yang pelajar selalu buat. That's why when I teach in class, I always scold my students. I always tell them, please write down all the possibilities first, right? Okay, so 1 minus PX equals 0 will be 8C0, P power, Q power. The P is 0.15, Q is 0.85. The power here will be same with the number down here, which is 0. 8 minus 0 is 8. Siap. The next one, 8C1, because the X is 1, and then bracket. This one is probability of success, P, 0.15, 0.85. Power will be same with number down here, and then this number will be atas minus atas, which is 7, right? So I'm using this formula. Okay, means I use 2 times only this formula, right? Okay, so 1 minus, press this, and then press this, and then get the answer. Okay, 8C0, no need to press because it's 1. 0.15 power 0 also no need to press, it's also 1. Just press 0.85 power 8. You will get 0.27249, so 2725. Okay, right in 4 cm figure. Okay, the belakang one, let's press 8C1 times 0.15 and then times 0.85 power 7. My calculator give me 0.3847. So just write it down, 0.3847. And then now use the answer button and then press 1 minus 0.2725 minus answer. Okay, 0.3428. So that is the answer for A. So this is the probability. Okay, this is the probability. What if they ask in percentage? Then you times 100. It will be 34.28%. Okay, if they ask in percentage. Sometimes they ask in percentage also. If you want to convert decimal to percentage, you times 100. Okay, that's how you do it. Okay, sudah siap. Now we do B question. Can I make this smaller? Let's make this smaller. No. Okay. Okay, like this. Okay, this is enough space. So let's go. B. B is normal distribution. So it will have nothing to do with A. So you cannot use the A information here. This is like a new question. So everything here is different with A. Okay, an analysis report of SPM trial exam scores at SMK Tamparuli was made, and it is found that the scores of history were normal. So later you have to tengok jadual for this question. And in normal distribution, you will not use the 4 formula that I tell you just now, which is this formula. You will not use this, and the mean NP formula and the variance NPQ formula and standard deviation square root NPQ. You will not be using any of these 4 formulas. These 4 formulas we only use when it's a binomial distribution. Normal distribution, don't use this formula, please. Okay, so what you do now is you write down the mean, 55, and then variance symbol is like this. Got square one, 56.25. And then it says total of 258 students scored between 52 and 72 marks. Okay, before I continue, I just want to mention, normal distribution, you don't tell me you go and use the mean NP formula here. No, please. Normal distribution, only binomial we will use that formula. Normal distribution, they give you mean, and standard deviation is for you to convert to Z. All right, because normal we have to convert to Z value, and the formula is X tolak mean bahagi standard deviation. It means in normal distribution, the variance is very useless. The variance, we don't use it actually. All right, in normal distribution. So what you should do now is actually convert this to standard deviation. And how to convert? Just square root variance. So then only you can get your standard deviation. So what is square root 56.25? You will get 15/2, 7.5. And tell me, what is this? The standard deviation, and why you need the mean and standard deviation to convert X value to Z value later. Okay, now let's keep reading. A total of 258 students scored between 52 and 72 marks. Okay, I'll tell you now, this is the NA. The 258 is the NA, right? Later I'll explain why, don't worry. So the NA is what? Student that scored between 52 and 72 marks. And then question number 1, this is find the number of students that sit for the SPM trial in the school. It means find the total. Find number means find total. It means they are finding the NS, right? Okay, now I'll explain to you what is NA and NS. Okay, there is a formula for probability. To find the probability, you will just take NA divide NS. So let's say I want to find probability of red color. The formula will be number of red color divide total. NS is total. So what if I want probability of even number? Then the formula is N even, which is number of even number, divide by NS, which is the total. So now you get the idea already. It means now I'm not finding, now the NA is actually 258. Why? Because they say 258 students scored between 52 and 72 marks. So my A now is actually what? My A now is what? Is student that scored between 52 and 72 marks. But I don't know the NS. I don't know the total. Okay. But the number of students who scored, it means if I want to find probability for between 52 and 72, the formula would be number of students yang scored 52, 72 divide by total. But they already give me 258. So the 258, that's why the 258 I write NA. right? And then they say find number of students that sit for the SPM means they want to find NS, right? So can you tell me, if I know the NA is 258 and I want to find NS at the end, what I have to find now? What I have to find now? The probability, right? The probability of student that's in between. Because if I want to find NS, this is my final answer, you know. My final at the end, I have to find this. So what I have to find now then? I have to find the probability lah. So that I can take a probability and then I pindah, then tukar tempat, then I can find my NS, right? So now I will find my probability for student between 52 and 72. But how to write this? P probability, and then I will write X in between 52 and 72. Okay, always write X. For normal division, the one that if they give you mean standard deviation means it will be X value. Means you have to convert to Z later. So now only you will convert to Z, right? Because you will find the probability. But after you find the probability, you still haven't finished yet, because I told you already, you still have to use this formula to find the NS, because they want to find number. They don't want to find probability, they want to find number. Okay, but let's find the probability first, because you need the probability. So now you will convert this to Z. And how to convert? Take the X minus mean divide standard deviation. So 52 minus 55 divide standard deviation 7.5. And then this now you write Z already. And then this one, it will be 72 minus mean, which is 55, over standard deviation 7.5. Then now you can press your calculator and see what you get. Okay, 52 minus 55 equals, and then divide 7.5. My calculator give me negative 0.4. And then this one will be Z. Okay, what about this? 72 minus 55 divide 7.5. Okay, my calculator give me 2.26666. So how many decimal place you write? 3 decimal place. Why? Because later when you tengok jadual, you will tengok dalam or tengok luar. You will tengok luar. You know why tengok luar? Because this one is you have the Z value. If you have the Z value, means you will tengok luar, right? But if you don't have the Z value, then only you tengok dalam. So this one you have the Z value, you will terus tengok luar. So when you tengok luar, you will realize your table can only read until 3 decimal place. Okay, but if you tengok dalam, you can read a lot of decimal place when you tengok dalam. There's even like 4 decimal place, 5 decimal, but when you tengok luar, there's only 3. So that's why I only write 3 decimal place, because I know later I have to tengok luar, tengok outside the jadual. So now what you do is you will sketch. You will lukis. Tapi you lukis satu cukup, right? So now where is negative 0.4? Somewhere here. And where is 2.267? It will be positive, so it must be here. And then where you have to shade, where you have to lower it. If in between means you have to lower it, this part, right? So when you lower it this part, you realize all the shaded region sudah cross over the other side of the axis, the y-axis. So whenever I teach in class, I say, but if your shaded region, all the line like this got intersect the line, got intersect the y-axis, got cross over to the other side, you will take 1 minus, right? And then why 1 minus? Because the total area here is 1. So what you take 1 minus yang you tak mau. Yang you tak mau is this. The one I bullet here and the one I bullet here. This is the one yang you tak mau. That's why you have to minus it. So it will be 1 minus PZ smaller than negative 0.4. Why smaller? Because you don't want the left side. You don't want the left side. That's why you minus the left side punya area. So smaller than negative. And then PZ bigger, because you don't want the right side. So bigger than 2.267. And after you minus this and minus this, the remaining is the answer. Okay. Okay. So now you can continue. PZ smaller negative. Okay, I mentioned before in my class, smaller negative, smaller negative, smaller negative, smaller negative, smaller negative can change to bigger positive. You still remember? Smaller negative can change to bigger positive. Only smaller negative can change to bigger positive. Okay, and then this one is already bigger positive. If it's already bigger positive, means I can straight away tengok jadual already. Okay, it will be 0 point something, but I have to tengok jadual lah. And I already tell you, I have to tengok outside. Okay, I have to tengok dari luar. So when I tengok dari luar, I will look for 2.2, and then here 6, here 7. So I need this number and this number in the jadual. All right. That's why I write 3 decimal place, because you can't even read until 4 decimal place. So let's go to the jadual now and get this value and this value. Okay, I will scroll up now and go look for the jadual. 2.267. Let's go. Okay, it's here. Okay, most students, they don't know how to read the jadual, so make sure you really know how to read lah. 2.2. This is the first decimal place. Second decimal place is 6, and then 7. So what will be the value here? This one. This is the value I want. 0.0119, and also 2, right? And the 2 have to tolak, have to minus. But when you minus, you don't minus like this. It's not like this. You minus belakang. You minus dekat belakang. So it will be 0.0117. So this is the answer, right? So 0.0117 will be the answer I write in my working. So let's go back and write 0.0117. 0.0117, 0.0117, 0.0117. All right, and continue. 1 minus this one also PZ bigger positive, so can baca jadual later. So now I will baca lah. I will go and find 0.4. Okay, this one is very easy to read. You just go to your jadual and find 0.4, and then here you find 0, and then straight away you get this value. You don't even have to minus, because this 0.4 dia tak ada 3 decimal place, so you just take this value straight away is the answer already. So let's go to jadual now and find 0.4. Only when your Z bigger positive baru boleh baca jadual lah. So okay, 0.40, this is the one. 0.3446. So that's the value I will write. So let's go down here. 3446, 3446, 0.3446. So remember, now you can take 1 minus 0.3446 minus 0.0117. Okay, my calculator give me 0.6437. But is this your final answer? No. Because if you got pay attention just now, I already tell you what they want now. Number of students that sit for the SPM trial. Do you know what is this? This is not even number. This is probability of student that scored between 52 and 72 marks. So what you have to do now, you have to use this formula. PA equals NA over NS, right? So PA equals NA over NS. And in this case, the A is for student yang scored between 52 and 72 marks. So the probability of A will be 0.6437, which is the probability yang student scored between 52 and 72 marks. So the formula now, it will be atas I have to write number of students that scored between 52 and 72, which is 258, because they mentioned it already. 258 students scored that, and I even labeled here already. 258 is the NA. And then now I can find the NS, which is the total. How you find it? You just pindah this one atas, jadi darab, and then the 0.6437 will go down, becomes divide. So now you press 258 divide 0.6437. So it will be 400.80, which is 400.81. But NS represents number of students sitting for SPM trial. So I don't think number of students bilangan orang can have decimal. So it's like approximately how many students? 401 students lah. All right. So it means your total number here is 401. Okay. This is how you do it. Okay, let's continue with B2, but I don't have enough space already, so I will just write here. Okay, this is second question. B2. Okay, B2 says what? If 98.12%, okay, stop. If they say percent, means probability lah. So probability equals to 98.12, so 0.9812. Okay, percentage means divide 100. So when you divide 100, you get this. So this is the probability of student past history. So this one is past history punya probability. And then they say calculate the passing mark. So this one, how you do it? This one you cannot tengok. Later when you tengok jadual, you cannot tengok luar. You have to tengok dalam. You know why? Because you don't have the Z value, but you have the probability. Ataupun area. This one we call it probability ataupun area. So this one later have to baca dalam. But how to write? Probability of past history equals to 0.9812 means I will let the passing mark be H. Okay. Okay, doesn't have to be H lah. It can be any alphabet you want. I just use H, okay, because it's history. But you can use any alphabet you want. So if the probability of past history is 0.912 means what? It means probability of X bigger sama dengan H equals to what? Equals to 9812 lah. You faham maksud saya? Okay. And by the way, in normal distribution, this line is very useless one. Okay, in normal distribution, this line is very useless. So even if you don't write it, it's fine. In normal distribution, but in binomial, it's very important. The line will change the answer. But in normal distribution, this line is very useless. Okay, very useless. Okay, so you want to put the line also can. You don't want to put the line also can. But why bigger? Why bigger? Kenapa saya tulis bigger? Because they say this is the probability of student who passed. It means this probability is the probability of student yang score more than the passing mark. So that's why PX bigger than H. H will be the passing mark, will be 0.9812. Okay, so now I can continue from here. But first thing first is always change from X to Z. Okay, how to change from X to Z? I have to, okay, let's pick it again. Okay, I have to take the X minus mean divide standard deviation. So PZ bigger sama dengan, again, I want to repeat, this line is very useless. In normal distribution, the line is like so very useless one. So you will take the H minus mean, which is 55, and then divide standard deviation. So the standard deviation is 7.5, right? Equals to 0.9812, right? And now I can besarkan balik, and then continue from here. So what is the next step now? Okay, do you remember this type of question where you cannot find the Z value? What you do? You cannot find the Z value now because you don't know H, right? So what you do? You will let C equals whatever you write here. So H minus 55 over 7.5. And then now you write PZ bigger sama dengan C equals to 0.9812. It means later when you tengok jadual, you have to tengok dalam. You know why tengok dalam? Because you don't have the Z value. Okay, the Z value is the value outside, right? But if you don't have the Z value, you have to tengok dari dalam, right? But you cannot tengok sekarang. You tak boleh tengok sekarang. Remember, you can only tengok jadual when your Z is bigger positive. Now it's bigger, but is it positive? You don't know. You don't know. Okay, and trust me, if you tengok jadual now, you can't even find this value inside, right? Because your C is not positive, right? Macam mana nak tahu C positive or negative? Lukis. Tapi lukis berapa kali? 2 kali. Why 2 kali? Because now you don't know your C is negative or positive. That's why you have to lukis 2. But only one of these is correct. Okay? It cannot be both correct. Only one of these is correct. Okay, one C can be negative, C can be positive, but where you have to shade, where you have to lorate. Bigger means ke kanan, right? So which one do you think is the correct one? Okay, how I teach you in class, look at the area, look at the probability. If your probability or area is more than 0.5, then you choose the big one. If it's lesser than 0.5, you choose the small one. So look at your area now, it's bigger than 0.5, so we will go with this, right? Means your C is negative, it's not this. Because it doesn't make sense. How can this area be 0.98? This is not even more than half. This area should be less than 0.5. That is why C must be negative. And how I teach you in class, when the C is negative, straight away go to the last baris and tulis siap-siap C negative, or else you will forget. So many students make this mistake. They will forget to write negative at the end. So I always will tulis siap-siap first. Okay, now since it's this one, I will take 1 minus. Why? Why 1 minus? Because my shaded region is already how to say, cross over the y-axis. And I always mention, if the shaded region like this is like spill over to the other side, you have to take 1 minus. 1 minus what? 1 minus yang you tamau lah. Yang you tamau is the one I circle here, which is PZ smaller than negative C equals to 0.9812, right? Smaller than negative. Smaller negative, smaller negative, smaller negative, smaller negative, smaller negative. Bigger positive, right? Smaller negative can always change to bigger positive, and then 0.9812. And then now, since it's Z bigger positive already, I can move it here to get rid of this negative, and now it will be 1 minus 0.9812 here. And now your PZ bigger positive C will be 1 minus this. So let's press 1 minus 0.9812. Now it will be 0.0188. Okay, now only you can tengok jadual. Okay, you faham, Oh, by the way, never mind lah. I forgot what I want to say already. Just now I got something important to tell you, but tak apalah, forget already. Okay, so now since PZ is already bigger positive C, now can tengok jadual. You can only tengok when it's Z bigger positive. But how you tengok jadual? You don't go and tengok luar cari 0.0188. No, cannot. This is not the Z value. This is the area, the probability. It means you have to tengok dari dalam, and you have to find 0.0188 ataupun lebih sikit. Okay, so let's go to the jadual now and find 0.0188 atau lebih sikit. Okay, lebih sikit. So let's find 0.0. Let's use red color pen. 0.0188. Okay, I can find it. It's somewhere here. 0.188. No, down a bit. 0.188. Oh, it's like exactly here, right? So why I just now I tell you have to find 0.188 ataupun lebih sikit, because if there's no 0.188, you will take the lebih sikit one and then you tolak, right? But since this one is already exactly 0.188, means I don't have to look at this column already. It means there's no 3 decimal place, there's only 2 decimal place. It means the answer will be 2.08. That's the answer, 2.08. Okay, you faham? Because I don't have to tolak anything. Okay, there's no extra here. So the answer is baca, and it will be 2.08. Okay, the Z value is 2.08. So now let's go back there and write 2.08. And guess what? If you write 2.08, salah. Salah. Why salah? Okay, if I scroll down, you will know why salah. Okay, why? Okay. So 2.08. You see? got negative ma. If you write 2.08, confirm wrong. It's negative because just now I do experiment already. I already prove it. The C is negative. That's why the C is not positive. 2.08 is negative. That is why students always forget the negative here. So always be careful. Okay, C is negative, but they don't want C. They want the passing mark, which is H. So I will ganti back with this. So just now I already let C equals to H minus 55 over 7.5. So now I already get my C. I have to substitute back inside here. So let's find H. Negative 2.08, press calculator, times 7.5 plus 55. Okay, my calculator give me 39.4 positive. Okay, 39.4 is what? Is the passing mark for history, right? So this will be your final answer. So they ask for what? Passing mark. This is the passing mark. Okay, so that's how you do it. Okay, keep going. Number 10. So let's read the question. Walter wanted to make a door with a parabolic top as shown in the diagram. So this is a parabola. So I think this is a quadratic chapter because parabola is the shape of the quadratic curve, right? So this is the door, but this one is a straight line. It's just that this part only is the quadratic curve, okay? And then they give you the 8 feet is the height of the door, and then this one I think is the width, the lebar of the door. Okay, now they say given that the gradient function of curve BC is px plus 2, whenever you see this word gradient function gf, it automatically means what? It means dy dx. So gradient function means dy dx. So dy dx equals to px plus 2. So maybe it's not a quadratic chapter punya soalan. Maybe it's differentiation. So I made a mistake. Just now I thought it's a quadratic question, but it's a differentiation. But it mixed with quadratic. Okay, where p is constant. So tak penting ini. Number 1 says what? Find the equation of curve BC. Okay, this is the after you differentiate the equation, but now they want to find equation of curve in this form where a, b, and c are constant. Okay, if you want to find equation, it means you want to find y. So how to find y? Okay, what is this? What is px plus 2? This one is actually the y after you do the dy dx. After you differentiate the curve, this is the result. So how to get back the y? You will integrate this one, right? But there is a problem. There is a big problem because you don't know because even if you integrate this, what you get? You will get px power 2 over 2 plus 2x plus c. And then you need to find c, you need to find x and y. And the p also need to find, right? So that is why I don't think you can integrate now first. You can integrate later, but not now. First, you need to find value of p first, I think. But how to find value of p? Let's see. Assume point A as origin. Oh, I didn't read this. So let's draw it. So A is the origin. So this is the x-axis. And this is the y-axis, right? So if this is the x-axis, this is the y. It means this is 0, this is x, this is y. And we can actually label some points here. This will be the 4, 0, because it's the 4 unit here, right? 4 feet. And then here is 8. So definitely the maximum point punya y coordinate is 8. Y coordinate. But can I get the x coordinate? The answer is yes. Because here is 0, here is 4. So you can take 0 plus 4 punya middle. 0 and 4 punya middle. So what is 0 and 4 punya middle? 2, right? So actually this one is 2. It means the axis of symmetry is 2. It means this is 2. And this one can I find? I think cannot lah, this one. This one cannot. I need the equation of curve to find this one. But at least I know my maximum point now, right? So now how to find value of p? I think it's very clear, right? You will use the dy dx equals 0 punya cara. Okay, let's go back to the previous differentiation question. Where is it? This one. Do you remember I told you differentiation got 5 types of question, right? So whenever you see the word minimum, maximum, turning point, it means it's the second type, right? Okay, if you want the explanation for this question, you rewind to this question 7 lah. But now I just want to show you this. So this is definitely minimum, maximum, turning point, which is same with the 7b minimum. You will do differentiate equals 0, right? So let's go back to the question now. Oops. Okay, so go to this question and do b, and you will do dy dx equals 0, right? So when dy dx equals 0, the x will be 2 because the turning point is 2. So now it will be 0 equals px plus 2, 2, like this, right? It means when I ganti x equals to 2 inside my dy dx, my gradient tangent will be 0. Do you understand? It means this is the gf, right? And how to get gradient tangent? you have to masukkan nilai x, right? But when the nilai x is 2, the gradient tangent will be 0 because that's the maximum point. So how to find P? Plus 2 pindah jadi -2, divide 2 is -1. So rupa-rupanya my P is -1. So now I know my dy dx. It's -1x, -x plus 2. So now you can find your equation of curve, which is y. So you will integrate -x plus 2 dx. Why integrate? Because this d stands for differentiate, and when you move the d over, it will change to this symbol, integrate. And then this dx duduk bawah, when you write here, you write atas here. Okay, well, how to integrate? Take the power plus 1 and then divide the power. So this one is x power 1, so 1 plus 1 is 2, divide 2. Integrate number, just letak x. And then dx have to change to plus c. If there's no number here, you have to write the plus c. Okay, don't stop here, because they want the equation in this form. It means you have to find the c actually, because equation usually is y in terms of x. So how to find the c? C is the y-intercept, and they never give, right? But it's okay. You can substitute x and y. And which point you will substitute? Point yang ada passes through lah. So which point got passes through here? 2, 8, right? You can only substitute point yang ada passes through. If the point never passes through, you cannot substitute. So PT stands for passes through. So 8, you will sub inside y, and then -x squared over 2 plus 2x plus c. The x will be 2, 2. So how to find your c? Okay, press all this inside the calculator. So 2 squared is 4, -4 divided by 2, -2 plus 4, -2 plus 4, 2 plus c. So c will be 6. Rupa-rupanya this is 6. It means this point is 0, 6, and this point is 4, 6, right? But now I want my equation curve, so it will be y equals -x squared over 2 plus 2x plus c, so plus 2x plus 6. So this is how you do question number 1. Okay, so they want to find equation in this form, right? This form, I already read it. Okay lah, they want ax squared. Okay lah, let's change a bit. So let's write like this. Instead of writing -x squared over 2, I write -1 over 2x squared. Actually, it's the same thing lah. But since they got mentioned in like this, so I'll just put the a like this. So it's easy to read the a, b, and c. Okay, so that's it. Let's do number 2. Okay, number 2, I think I'll do it here. Okay, let's read the question first. Calculate the cost to make the door if the price is RM30 per square feet. Hitung kos untuk membuat pintu jika harganya adalah RM30 setiap kaki persegi. So what does it mean by per square feet? It means 1 feet square, the price is 30 ringgit. You faham maksud saya? RM30 per square feet means what? It means the cost to make 1 feet square punya door, okay, is like 30 ringgit. So what you have to do is find the total area in square feet first lah. Then only I can times 30, right? So how to find the total area in square feet? Use integration method. Okay, how you integrate? Okay, if you look at this door, the top of this door is actually a parabolic curve. So what you do is you can take the curve here, tarik to x-axis, and use integration to find. So what you write here is integrate. Okay, right, area equals okay, integrate what? From 4 to 0. Okay, because you are taking the curve tarik to x-axis now. Okay, not tarik y, so it will be dx. So the formula you have to write is y here, and then here will be 4 to 0. Okay, and then the y you will write the equation of curve, which is -1 over 2x squared. Okay, this one I have to write belakang a bit. So -1 over 2x squared plus 2x plus 6 dx. So this is how you find the area of the door. So equation of curve, tarik from 4 to 0, and then since it's tarik to x-axis, so dx. Okay, when you integrate, you will stop writing this symbol, you will put big bracket, and then -1 over 2. When you integrate, it will be power plus 1, so power 3 over 3. Integrate 2x, which is 2x squared over 2, right? Because power plus 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, and then divide 2. And then integrate number, just put x. And then don't forget to close the bracket, and then write 4, 0 here. No need to write plus c. You only write the plus c when it's an indefinite integral. Indefinite integral means there's no number here. Then only you write the plus c. If this one is definite integral, you don't write the plus c. You just put the 4, 0 at the back, right? Okay, how to continue? Atas darab atas, bawah darab bawah. So x power 3 over 6. It means you don't substitute the 4 inside first. You simplify inside first. You simplify first. Okay, 2 and 2 can cut. So x squared and then plus 6x. I think I already simplified this enough. Now only I will put in the 4 and put in substitute the 4 inside x, and then substitute the 0 inside, and then tengah-tengah minus. Y got 2 bracket. This bracket is for you to substitute 4, and then the other bracket is for you to substitute 0. Okay, let's substitute 4. 4 power 3 40. Wait, 64. 64, right? Okay, let's use calculator. Okay, yeah, 64. And then divide 6, 32 over 3. So you will end up with negative 32 over 3. So just write it down. And then don't forget to substitute 4 here also. 4 squared is 16, so plus 16. And then plus 6 times x, 6 times 4, so plus 24. And then minus, substitute 0. Okay, 0, 0, 0 power 3 is 0, 0, 0 squared is 0, 0, 0. So everything 0, so it's just 0. So now you can calculate this whole thing, right? So what is negative 32 over 3? And then plus 16 plus 24. Let me press calculator. Okay, my calculator give me 88 over 3. And don't forget, this one is the area in square already. Feet, square feet. Okay, this one is square feet. Square feet. Okay, because everything, when I label this 4, 0, 4, 6, 2, 8, they are all in feet. So automatic, when I use this formula, it will automatically come out in square feet, right? So now how to find the cost? How to find the cost to make the door? So the price to make the door for 1 square feet is 30 ringgit. So if 88 over 3 square feet, it will be 88 over 3 times with RM 30 lah. And then you will get your answer in RM also. So cut, left with 10. 10 times 88 is RM 880. So that is how you do this question. Okay, sudah siap. Now for question B, right? So this is question B. Let's read the question. The diagram shows part of curve y equals square root x plus 6. Okay, we can see it. Okay, there are some points that we can find, which is the y-intercept, right? Okay, but let's find it later lah. And the straight line x equals k. Okay, this one x equals k means this is k. And the x coordinate for D is also k. And then the straight line AC. Okay, AC is also a straight line. So we all know the C coordinate. The x coordinate for C is 3, right? But the y coordinate, I don't know. Wait, how I know? This one, because got 90 degree here, right? It means this line is completely straight. That's why when you baca bawah, it will be 3. Okay, when the shaded region is revolved 360 about x-axis. So this is the shaded region, revolve 360 about x-axis. So you pushing x-axis lah. So pushing like this. So now they say the volume is 42 1 over 2. So let's write down volume. Okay, it's 42.5. Okay, or you can write 42 1 over 2. But let's convert this into improper fraction. It means this one I will times and then plus. Okay, because I want the fraction to look like this. Okay, so 2 times 42 plus 1, what do you get? 85 over 2. All right, so the volume is 85 over 2 pi, right? But this one is volume of shaded region, shaded region, and it's already says that revolve x-axis, right? And then they say find value of k. Okay, how to do this? Volume of shaded region. Okay, for volume, you cannot choose which axis. If they say revolve x-axis, automatic your formula will be integrate pi y squared dx. If it's dy, then it's pi x squared for volume lah. So this question, obviously I have to tarik to x-axis, but look at the shaded region. It's not even, how to say, it's not, because it's obviously tarik from here to here, but when you tarik, it has to be a straight line. But this line is not a straight line. It means you have to take something minus something. It means you actually cannot straight away find the volume directly. You have to take the volume of this, okay, and then minus with the cone volume. Do you understand? It means okay, let me draw it out for you. It means you have to take first you have to take the volume of this one first. So there is a line here, which is k, and then there is a line here, which is 3, and then there is a line here, right? But I don't care. I want to find the whole volume here, and then minus with this volume. This is still k, this is 3, right? And guess what? This volume, this triangle, when you rotate x-axis 3, rotate one circle, you will get a cone, right? So if you can actually use the formula for volume of cone. And what is the volume of cone formula? 1 over 3 pi r square h, right? But you need the radius of cone and the height of cone, okay? So obviously, now I don't have my... Okay, I think I can find this volume first. This volume is integrate from where to where? K to 3, right? And k have to write atas, 3 have to write bawah because k is bigger. And then pi y squared dx. And later, the pi can put in front. And then the k3 here. And then the y squared, you have to put equation of curve, which is square root x plus 6, but have to square. Because square root x plus 6 is the y have to square dx. But this is not the answer, of course. You still have to minus with what? This volume is for the whole thing. I have to minus with the triangle after it rotates 360. So the triangle rotate, you will get the cone. So I already mentioned the cone volume is what, 1/3 pi r square h. So what is the r and what is the h? The radius of cone will be here, right? Will be here. So do I have the thingy here? Do I have this point punya thingy? Don't have, but I can find. I can find. How to find? Can you see this point? If I want to know the height from here to here, I just have to ganti x equals to 3 inside this equation. Then it will become square root 3 plus 6. It will be square root 9. It will be 3, right? It means the y coordinate is 3. Because I want to know this the y coordinate of this point, right? So the x coordinate is 3, just ganti masuk lah, because got passes through. So now I know this point is 3, 3. It means the sorry. Wait. Pi r square h means I want the radius, right? Radius of cone is not here lah. Radius of cone is betul lah. Betul lah. So the radius of cone is, because when you rotate the cone, it actually look like this, right? So the radius of cone is this panjang here, okay, which is 3. So 3. And then what about the height of cone? The height of cone is here. Please don't tell me 3. The height of cone is not 3. It's k minus 3. Because this you have to take k, which is here to here punya panjang, tolak here to here punya panjang. So k minus 3 is your height of cone, right? Of course, there's another method. Another method is you find the equation of this line and then use the integration method. Don't use the volume punya cara, use the integration, can also. But I didn't use that method because I realized I don't have the equation of this line. That's why I never do that method. But if you do like that, you will get the same answer, right? Okay, now I think I can just calculate this whole thing, then I can do it already. Okay, I forgot to write this. It equals to 85/2 pi. Okay, now how to simplify this? 3 and 3 can cut. So you're left with 3 pi times k minus 3, which is 3k pi minus 9 pi, right? 3 pi, yeah. And then equals to, make sure you put bracket lah. If you don't put bracket, it will be wrong. And then now I just have to integrate this. Okay, how do we integrate this? Pi. Okay, before integrate, I think I can expand this power 2. So don't integrate first. So this symbol have to write square root and square when they meet each other, they can cancel. So you just left with x plus 6 dx minus, I think this one you can open the bracket. When you open the bracket, it becomes 3k pi plus 9 pi equals to 85/2 pi. And then this one, it will be pi. Okay, now can integrate already. So when you integrate, you will stop writing this symbol. You will instead write the big bracket. What is integrate x? X power 2/2. What is integrate 6? 6x. And then close bracket, k3 minus 3k pi. This one just follow, just salin saja. 85/2 pi. And then now, how you continue? You will substitute the k inside, and then you substitute the 3 inside, and then tengah-tengah minus, right? Because dalam cannot simplify already. So now take the k, substitute inside x, and then take the 3, substitute inside x, and then minus. Okay, k substitute inside, you will get k squared over 2 plus 6k. 3 substitute inside, you will get 9/2 plus 18. Because 3 squared is 9, 3 times 6 is 18. And then minus 3k pi. This one just equal only lah. The back one just salin saja, right? Okay, now what? K squared over 2 plus 6k, you can just write it down because you can't do anything. And then minus 9/2 plus 18. So let's press 9 2 plus 18. Calculator give me 45/2. So it'll be negative 45/2. But this whole thing have to times pi, right? And then minus 3k pi plus 9 pi equals to 85/2 pi. So eventually, when you take this one times pi, what will happen? Means all these will have pi beside lah. K squared over 2 pi plus 6k pi minus 45/2 pi minus 3k pi plus 9 pi equals 85/2 pi. And you can see everyone have pi here. So what we can do is take everything divide pi. It means all the pi will get cut here. So when you cut every pi, you just left with what? Cut the pi, cut, because everything divide pi. So it'll be k squared over 2 plus 6k minus 45/2 minus 3k plus 9 equals 85/2. So now you can find k, but some of these got fraction, right? Got 2. So how to get rid of the fraction? Everything times 2 lah. Then no fraction already. So times 2, k squared times 2, 12k times 2, 45 times 2, 6k times 2, 18 times 2, 85. Because when you take this one times 2, the 2 cut, that's why left with 85. Now it will end up as a quadratic because got square. So you have to move everything to one side equals 0. So k squared K dengan K boleh buat. 12 minus 6 is positive 6K. Number hanya boleh buat dengan number. So what is negative 45 plus 18 and then minus 85, because the 85 also have to bring it here so that it's equals 0. So negative 112, right? So negative 112 and then equals 0. And now you can press calculator, right? So you get two answers here. Okay, let's press. So what is the A? The A you will press 1, the B you will press 6, the C you will press negative 112. Okay, my calculator give me 8 and negative 14. So my first answer is 8, negative 14. And make sure you kosong satu baris baru tulis, because this one you have to write bracket bracket. K kalau positive 8, K minus 8. Kalau K minus, dia jadi K plus 1, 4. Right? So these are the two answers. But look at your diagram. Your K is positive or negative? Look at this. Your K is actually here. X equals K. Means this one is K. So K, is it possible for K to be negative? No, K must be positive, right? Because it's here. This is 0 and your K is on the positive side, right? So definitely your K is positive 8. So means here you have to write rejected. Ataupun you write ignore also can. So you end up with 8 as the final answer. Alright? So this is how you do question number 10. So sudah siap kan? They want you to find K. So yeah, that's all. Okay, number 11. I think this is linear, so I need a graph paper for this. But this paper, they never provide me graph paper. So later I will use another. I have to use another state paper punya graph paper, because I have to pinjam, because I don't have graph paper. They never provide in this set. So okay, let's read the question. The production for sanitizer brand A is related with the number of hours H. So H is represents number of hours by this equation. So what is the equation? A equals 2x square minus B over H. And then they say table below shows the corresponding values of X and H. A, they ask me to plot graph. Okay, first of all, dia ada bagi equation tak dalam soalan? Ada bagi. So kalau ada bagi equation, what you have to do first? How I teach you in class. If they got give you equation, what you should do? The first step is to straight away change the equation to linear form, which is y equals mx plus c. But sir, the question never asked me to change to linear form. Okay, you have to change it, because if you don't change it, you cannot do part B later. You cannot do part B later. That is why when I teach you in class, I always say, kalau ada bagi equation, terus tukar jadi linear form. The question tak bagi tahu you, tak panggil pun you kena buat. Right? The question never ask you to change to linear form, but you still have to change to linear form, or else later you can't do B. Right? And how to change to linear form? Your equation must sama dengan y-axis. Right? But I don't know my y-axis. Okay, you can actually tiru here. You can look at A, they say plot graph of what against what? X square H against H. It means what is your y-axis? X square H. And what is your x-axis? H. So now you know your y-axis and x-axis. But your equation now is not even sama dengan y-axis. So how to make it sama? So first of all, you can susun a bit, right? So I will write it a little bit different. Instead of writing it like this, I'll write 2x square minus b over h equals to a. Actually, it's the same thing. I just write this in front, right? And why I write this in front? Because I realized my equation have to sama dengan y-axis. So my y-axis have to be have to have x square h. That's why I purposely put the x square here. And now I don't want the b over h, so I will move it to the other side. Becomes plus b over h. And then the 2 also I don't want. So just divide 2, divide 2, divide 2. So it'll be a over 2. This one will be b over 2h. But it's still not same with y-axis, because the y-axis is x square h. So everything times h lah. Everything times h, then it's same with it. So it becomes x square h. This one times h, it will be a over 2h. And then this one times h will be b over 2. And as you can see, my equation sudah sama dengan y-axis. X square h, x square h. So now this is linear form. It's already so nicely. So y equals to mx plus c. So the y-axis is x square h, betul. The x-axis is h, betul. It means what is your gradient? Your gradient will be a over 2. And then what is your y-intercept? It will be b over 2, right? And you will need this later to do b. Okay, to do b. Because b, they ask to find a and b, right? Okay, but part A, they want you to do what? Part A, they want you to plot a graph of x square h against h using a scale 2 cm to 30 on x-axis, 2 cm to 10 on y-axis. Draw the line of best fit. Before you plot the graph, you have to construct a new table. You cannot use this table anymore, because this table is for x and h. Now you want a table yang x square h and h. So now you do a new table. Okay, let me just draw a table. Okay, I think it's enough. And then now, instead of writing x h, I will write h x square h, right? Why is it h x square h? Because the x-axis, x coordinate now is h, and then the y-axis now is x square h. That's why it's like this, right? And draw a line here, and then you got how many column? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Okay lah, no need to be cantik. Okay. Okay, so now I will put in all the value. Okay, some student he asked me this. Can I write x square h atas and then h bawah? Okay, can. But I don't recommend. I always recommend to write x-axis atas, y-axis bawah, so that when we read, it's easy to read because we read here, 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 here. If you write terbalik, then you have to baca in reverse, which is very difficult and it's very easy to make mistake. So that's why it's always better to write the x coordinate atas, right? Okay, what is the h? It will stay the same lah. 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, because in the table this one is also h, that's why it will be the same. But for the x square h, everything will change, right? So what is x square h? So this one is the x, this is not the x square h, this is the x. So how to change it to x square h? Means I have to take this number, square, and then times with the h, which is 30. So I have to press 0.683 0.6831 square times 30, which is 13.99. I'll write 14. Usually when we plot graph, we will only write 2 decimal place, right? Because graph, you can only read until 2 decimal place, okay? Because if you write too many, it's very hard to plot later. Okay, so 14. And then next one, it will be 0.6583 square times 60. Let's press 6583 square times 60. Okay, my calculator give me 26. So just write 26. And just write 2 decimal place. And then this one, 0.6146 square times 90. What is the answer in 2 decimal place? 33.995. So 34, right? Okay, next one, 0.6191 square times 120. Okay, 45.99. But later you have to plot. So of course you write 46 better, right? 45.99 is 46 lah, basically. And then 0.6 square times 150. Okay, 54. And then next one, 0.6055 square times 180. Okay, 65.99. But later you have to plot this point. So of course it's better to just round it off, become 66, right? Okay, now this is the table. Oh, and by the way, the soalan got asked me to do this one and this one. No, right? But you have to do it. Because if you don't do this, you cannot do part B. And if you don't do the table, you cannot do part A. So even if the soalan never asks you to do this, you have to do it, right? So linear law is like this, right? Sometimes the question, they won't tell you what to do. You have to know it yourself. Okay, so now only I can start to plot my graph, which is x square h against h. And let's use this scale, 2 cm to 30, 2 cm to 10. But before I go to my graph paper, I have to check whether my value got negative or not. If you can look at this value, there's no negative. Everything is positive. So your graph paper is this, and your 0 you can put at bottom left, because everything is on the first quadrant, because everything positive. So this is 0, and then everything just put here. This one is 2 cm 30, so it's 2 cm 10, right? So let's go to the graph paper. Okay, since this state paper don't have graph paper, I will pinjam graph paper from other set, right? So ignore this. Okay, ignore this. Don't look at this. All right, so they say 0 to 2 cm to 30, right? So this will be 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180. Yeah, because the highest value just now is only until 180. And here you will write H. Don't make the mistake of writing X. It's H. Okay, and then here you will be the X square H. But they say 2 cm to 10, right? So it will be 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, what's the highest value? 66. So you will go up until 70 is enough. And then it will stop here. And then here you will write X square H, right? And the title later will be graph of X square H against H, right? And then underline. Okay, let's underline nicely. So underline, underline, right? So this is how you draw the axis. Okay, let's make it bigger so that it's much more easier to plot later. Okay, so can you see it? I think good enough. Let's make it lagi bigger. Okay, like this is even better. Okay, now we can go back to the graph and see the point, right? So as you can see, the paling besar here is what? 180, and then paling besar here is 70. That's why I use until here. Okay, now let's plot the first point, 30, 14. So let's go back to the graph, 30, 14. Where is it? 30, 14. So this is 30, 14 is just 10, and then 11, 12, 13, 14. This is it, right? Oops. So 30, 14, right? It means one kotak kecil here is 1. Every time you naik satu kotak, you plus 1. So plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. So you plus 4 times lah. Okay. Okay, let's continue. Next one is 60, 26. So let's go back. 60, 26. This is 60, 26 is just 30. Turun is 29. Turun 28, 27, 26. So turun 4. Right, so it's here. So 26, 29, 28, 27, 26. And make sure it's at 60. Make sure the x coordinate is 60. So let's go back there. Is it 60? Yes. And then next one, 90, 34. So 90, 34. Let's plot. 90 is here. 34 is 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Here. Oops. 90, 34, 31, 32, 33, 34. So here, here. Right. Okay, next one. Next one, next one, next one. 120, 46. So let's plot. 120 is here. 46 is just 45 is here, ma. So 9 satu here, 46. Ayo. So 45 is here. And then here, right? 45 and 46. Because the x coordinate is 120, right? Let's check. Yeah, the x coordinate is 120. And then 150, 54. Okay, 150, 54. This is 150, 54. This one is 150. This one is 55. 54, just turun satu lah. So this is the point. Okay, last one. 150, 54. Next one is what? 180, 66. So let's plot. 180 is here. 66 is just 70. 65 is here. So 66 is here. All right. So 66. Okay, done. Now it's time to draw your line, right? So when I teach in class, how I teach you to draw the line of best fit, your line have to touches the most points, right? And also we try to make it balanced, right? Balance means if the point tak sentuh tak apa, but try to make the lines above and below the like same number of points, right? Okay, for example, this one, how I teach you in class. First thing first is you put your pembaris panjang so that it joins the first point and the second point. So if you can look at this line is not very good. If you join 1 and 2, your straight line only touches 2 points, right? So, and all the points is below, so it's not good. So we will try with the first point and the third point. What do you think will happen here? It's better. It's better. Why is it better? Because now your line touches 3 points. Can you see? It touches the first point, it touches this point, and then this point and this point, right? If I tarik 1 to 3. So at least it's better now because it touches 3 points. But the remaining 3 points yang tak sentuh is duduk above, right? Okay, let's try with 1 and 4. 1 and 4. So is this good? Not good, not as good as the previous one because this one only touches 2 points, right? We always prioritize touching the most points, right? So this is not very good. And then 1 and 5, this one is same with just now lah. It touches 3 points. All right. So far, this is the best one. And then 1 and 6, the last point, one combining 1 and this. So what I get here is touch 2 points, but at least this is somehow a bit balanced. You can see it's a bit balanced, right? So do we choose 1 and 6 or 1 and 5? 1 and 5. You know why? Because even though this 1 and 5, dia tak ada balance, right? Dia touches 3 point tapi dia tak balance sebab 3 atas. But why 1 and 6 I will not choose this? Because this one walaupun dia sentuh 2 point saja, tapi dia balance lah because 2 point atas, 2 point bawah, right? So you can actually draw it like this also can. I think can also. Yeah, if you draw it like this can also. But I always prioritize touching the most points. So I will draw it like this. Actually, I'll draw it like this. All right? But you can draw it 1 and 6 also. Actually, it's no problem one. Okay, it will not affect your answer. Trust me. Okay, so now this one you can tarik. Okay, okay, let's make it like a bit like I want to make it accurate. Okay, so this one actually I have to make sure dia sentuh the first dot, so it has to look like this, right? Okay. This one has to be like this. But then this one I have to make sure the other sentuh, right? 135. 135. Dia kena sentuh 135. So if sentuh 135, it will look like this. 1, 3, 5. So sentuh 135. Okay, this one actually got sentuh lah. Okay, and then this one, then this one. Okay, this one got sentuh. Okay, I think this is how you draw the line, right? Okay, after you reach here, now you can Continue. Don't forget to write the title. The title have to write. The title atas have to write. Okay, now come back here. I already finished my part A. Part A is draw graph. So this is you get 4 marks for this. And then for question B, now they say use the graph in part A, find the value of A and B. Okay, you don't tell me, oh, A is gradient, B is y-intercept. No, 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 no. A is not gradient, B is not y-intercept. What is the gradient? You have to look at your linear form. So your gradient is actually what? A over 2, and then your y-intercept is B over 2. So how to write? A over 2 equals gradient, and then B over 2 equals y-intercept. But when you write y-intercept, you have to use huruf besar. Why have to use capital letter? Because your y-axis is actually x squared h. That's why you have to write huruf besar. So now you have to find your gradient from the curve, and then you have to find your y-intercept from your not curve, from your graph. From your graph. So what is your y-intercept? You can use your eyes, can see already. Your y-intercept is 5, right? That is why always when you draw a line, make sure you draw until the y-axis. Okay, so here you write 5. So what is the b? It will be 5 times 2, which is 10. Okay, and then you have to find gradient here, right? But when you find gradient, you need 2 coordinates, so then you can take y minus y bahagi x minus x. So let's take 2 coordinates from your graph. So if I take 2 coordinates, I can take from where? Okay, I can take from 0, 5. This will be one of the points, right? And then I can take until... Okay, jangan ambil terlalu dekat. Jangan ambil, don't make your triangle like kecil. Make it besar. So I can take 0 until 120. Because 120, I think, yeah, you can divide 120. 120 is a number yang it's not easy to divide, but it's better than choosing like 30 or 70 or something like that. So 120, I think this, okay lah, let's not take this point lah. Let's not take this point. Can also actually, but since the 120 point is a bit hard to butcher because it's like somewhere in the middle. So why not we take 30? Okay, because if we take 30, what is 30 plus 120? It will be 150. It means we are taking 2 points that got that yang ada apa? Yang ada sentuh. So it's very easy to read because it's 30, 14, right? And then this one is 150, 54, right? So this is better, right? But don't forget to draw the triangle. Yeah, you have to draw the right angle triangle actually. So you will draw like this, and then this one, use ruler to draw dotted lines, and then they will meet at this point, and then put a 90-degree, right? So we are using this point and this point, 30, 14, 150, 54. So, okay. Of course, you will take the point yang dekat garisan, not the point yang you plot is be at the line, right? So 150, 54, 30, 14. So let's go back to the working. Okay, so it will be, what is the point just now? 30, 14, all right? 30, let's write here, 30, 14, and then it will be 150, 54. So it will be y minus y, x minus x. So 54 minus 14 over 150 minus 30, which is 54 minus 14, let's press. And then divide with 150 minus 120, 150 minus 30, which is so 1 over 3 lah. 1 over 3. And then now you can find your A, which is just pindah the 2, so you get 2 over 3. Right? So that's how you do it. Okay, sudah siap. Now we do part C, the last part. I'll do it here. From the graph, estimate the production of sanitizer brand A if the number of hours needed is 45. If you look back the question, number of hours is actually H. So it means I have to find when H equals 45, and then I want to find the production of brand A. Okay, production is what? X lah, means I want to find X, right? Because H is the time, X is the metric tons. Metric tons means the unit for the production of sanitizer brand A lah. So if I want to know how many metric tons, I have to go to my graph and cari H45 lah. So let's go to the graph and go to H45. H is the x-axis, right? You see, H is the x-axis. So where is 45? 45 will be exactly between 30 and 60, right? So this is exactly 45, the middle, right? Wait, how I know is the middle? You can take 30 plus 60 divide 2. Then you will know, you will get 45, right? Because that's how you find midpoint. 30 plus 60 is 90, and then divide 245. That's why it's in the middle. So the moment it touches the line, I have to tarik it to the y-axis, right? But this is not the answer. Because look at this. What is this? This is not x. The y-axis now is what? Is x squared h. So the x squared h is what? 19. 19, not not the what do you call it? Not the actually okay lah. If you look carefully, it's like okay, wait. Because if you look carefully, the point is actually here. It's like 19.5. Like, can you see it? So actually you can put a dot like this lah, and then take it as 20 actually, right? Because the dot is like very near to 20. So I think it's better to take this, right? 20 and then tarik here. Okay. So yeah, let's use 20 as the answer. So let's go back here. So when h equals to 45, the 20 will be your what? Will be your x square h. Not the x, this is not the x answer, this is x square h. So how to find x then? Okay, we all know h is 45. So now you can find your x square. How to find your x square? 20 divided 45. So let's press 4/9, which is 0.44. Just write 4/9. And then x equals to square root 4/9. Square root 4/9 is 2/3. But I will not write the plus minus sign because this one is production, means the how many metric tons. So takkanlah dia berat boleh negative, right? So yeah, metric, the answer is 2/3 metric tons. So estimate the production. I think it's 2/3 metric tons, right? The unit. Make sure you write the unit, right? So that's how I would do. Okay, that's all. Let's continue. Okay, now we are in section C. So this one they say jawab dua soalan, right? Okay, I will jawab 3 soalan. It means I will not do the kinematic. All right. So I will do every question in section C except the kinematic. All right. Okay, so let's do number 12. So let's read the question. Diagram 12 shows a quadrilateral PQRS. Okay, no problem. Find the length of PR. Okay, there's 2 triangles here, and your job is to decide you use which triangle to do. So if you want to find PR, means this is your X. So which triangle you will use to find? The bawah one or the atas one? Of course, the atas one. Because if you use the bawah one, not enough information. The atas one is better because more information. You have the other 2 sides and you have an angle. And this is the perfect case for cosine rule, to use cosine rule, right? So what cosine rule, when we can use it? When we have ada sini, and then nak cari sini. Ataupun tiga side ada, and we want to find any angle, we can also use cosine rule. So please make sure you memorize the steps. All right. Cosine rule, there's only two scenario ataupun 2 condition you can use cosine rule. One condition is when they give you 2 sides and included angle, and they ask you to find the remaining side, ataupun dia bagi tiga side and ask you to find any angle inside. Only these 2 case you can use cosine rule. All the other case, all sine rule. Okay, this one is only these 2 case cosine rule. So that's why I hafal already. That's why it's very easy for me to nampak kena guna cosine rule. But we will use the atas punya triangle. So how is the cosine rule? Do you remember? PR square equals to 8 square plus 17 square minus 2 bracket 8 bracket 17 cos 118. Right? And then how we press this is, instead of pressing it one by one, we'll just straight away tekan the whole thing. And the square, it will pindah become square root here. And then this whole thing, I will press the whole thing inside the calculator. So no need to press one by one, straight away the whole thing. 8 square plus 17 square minus 2 bracket 8 cos bracket plus bracket 17 cos bracket cos 118. Okay, if you got tekan sama-sama with me, you will get 480.69. 70. 480.70 because it's 696, so 70. But I will use the answer button, so don't worry, just tekan square root answer. 21.92. So that is the answer for A, right? So 21.92 cm. And make sure you label in the diagram also, because later you might need this information to do the next question. Second question want you to find PRQ, which is this angle. PRQ is this angle. Okay, how do we find this angle? So this is my X now. Can I use sine rule? Yes, because how to know whether can use sine rule or not? When you use sine rule, you need to have what? You need to have the opposite of what you want and another pair, right? So what you want now is PRQ, right? So do you have the opposite of what you want? Yes, 8 cm. And then you need another pair of angle and line, and you also have it, right? And the pair have to be opposite of each other. So you can actually use sine rule to do this. So just use sine PRQ over 8 cm equals to sine 118 over 21.92, right? So now it will be sine PRQ, it will be 0 point something, but you have to press all these. So sine 118 divide, you have to close bracket, and then divide 21.92 times 8. Okay, my calculator give me 0.3222. Just write 4 significant figure. And then now you shift sign answer. Use the answer button. It's more accurate. So shift sign answer. Okay, 18.80 ataupun in degree minute, 18 degree 48 minutes. And let me tell you, this is not the only answer. Do you remember I told you before, what do we call this angle? We call this RA. What is RA? RA is reference angle. It means there is actually another answer because RA is only the angle in quadrant 1 ataupun angle towards X, right? Reference angle means angle towards X. So you still have to consider quadrant. So sine, add sugar to coffee. Sine positive means quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. It means there's another answer in quadrant 2, which is you take 180 minus. But how do we know which angle to take? Do we take the quadrant 1 answer or quadrant 2? Well, you can use your eyes. All right. Look at this angle. What do you think? This angle, is it more than 90 degree? I don't think so. So definitely the angle is the quadrant 1 angle. So that's why you can write like this. Okay. It means this is the answer already. Okay. It means I will not take 180 minus, because I know even if I do like that, I will end up rejecting the answer anyway. So I will just cross it out. But I want you to know this because banyak soalan nanti yang you akan buat yang dia nak answer the other answer, right? So make sure you always, when you tekan shift sign, after you get the angle, you check whether the angle is quadrant 1 or quadrant 2. You can actually tell whether it's quadrant 1, quadrant 2 just by looking at the angle, right? You don't need the question to tell you. Of course, sometimes the question will tell you it's an acute angle, it's obtuse angle. But sometimes if they don't tell you also, you can determine just by looking at with your eyes. So remember that. So be careful, okay? But this one, no need. You will take the quadrant 1 answer lah. Okay, number 3, area of quadrilateral PQRS. Let's go. How to find area? Okay, this chapter is called solution of triangle, not solution of quadrilateral. So you will use the area formula in the solution of triangle, which is 1/2 AB sine C. But the AB sine C is only used to find triangle. So of course you have to take area of triangle plus area of triangle lah. But in order to use the 1/2 AB sine C formula, you need to have 2 sides and 1 included angle. So for the atas triangle, you can take 8, 17 and the included angle is 118. But the bawah triangle ada masalah. So I have to erase this already. Because bawah punya saya tak ada included angle. I don't have any angle inside. So I cannot find the area. But of course you can use the Heron's formula, can also. But malas lah. Okay. Okay. You can use the Heron's formula also, but the one is very long actually, so I don't like it. So why not I find any angle inside here? And which angle you can find? Up to you. Any angle also can, right? Because when you find area, you just need 2 sides and include angle. So you can just find this angle also can. If you use this angle, then later you take these 2 sides lah. And then, but if you find this angle, you take these 2 sides lah. If you find this angle, you take these 2 sides. So any angle you can find. Okay. So let's say I find this angle. Wait, let's see my B question, because maybe this angle will be useful here, right? Okay, let's find B angle. Let's find the angle here, right? Let's find angle here. So if I want to find angle here, I will use what formula? Cosine rule lah. Why cosine rule? Because I mentioned already, the cosine rule case is only 2 cases you need to have. One case is they give you 2 sides, 1 included angle, and then find the remaining side. Ataupun bagi 3 side, cari any angle inside. So you can see bawah punya triangle bagi 3 side, nak cari sini. So cosine rule. But when you do cosine rule, you have to start with 20 square, because you are finding this angle. If you're finding this angle, you have to write 13 square. But if you're finding this angle, you have to start with 21.92 square. So it will be 20 square equals what? 13 square plus 21.92 square minus 2 bracket 13 bracket 21.92, and then cos angle P, right? Or you can call it angle RPS. Okay, RPS ataupun SPR pun boleh. Okay, now how you will calculate? Okay, this one you have to be careful. When I teach student, I always say what? Separate it here, right? It means you will pindah the 13 square and 21.92 square to the other side. So you will press 20 square minus 13 square minus 21.92 square, right? And then you will get negative 249.4864. Okay, just write it here. And then the rest here, you will separate it here. So it will be negative 2 times 13 times 21.92, which, 2 times 13 times 21.92, which is negative 569.92. Okay. So just press calculator and then cos RPS, right? And then now you can find your cos RPS, but this one you have to move it there, become divide. Negative divide negative is positive, and then 249.4864 divide the 569.92 is 0.4378. And then shift cos answer. Okay, shift cos answer is 64 degree 2 minute. 64 degree 2 minute. So your RPS is what? Sorry, your PRS, not RPS, PRS. PRS is 64 degree 2 minute. It means this angle here lah is 64 degree 2 minute. Okay, that's quite nicely. Okay, just now I got mentioned when you tekan shift sign, there's actually two answer, right? And you have to how to say, use your eyes to check whether you take the quadrant 1 or quadrant 2 answer. Actually, when you tekan shift cos also got two answer, but for shift cos positive it will be quadrant 1 and quadrant 4, and you don't have to check for this one because there's no way that a quadrant 4 angle will be inside the triangle, right? Because quadrant 4 means the angle is bigger than 270. That is why for shift cos you don't have to check. But make sure when you tekan shift sign in this chapter, solution of triangle question, when you tekan shift sign, you always double check whether you want the quadrant 1 or quadrant 2. If they want quadrant 2, you take 180 minus. Okay, now this is the angle here. Now we can find the area of the whole thing. So let's do it here. Okay, so the area will be 1/2 AB sine C. For the atas punya triangle will be 8 and 17 will be the two sides, and then the included angle will be 118. So sine 118. And then use big bracket. And then plus with another triangle, which is 1/2 AB sine C, but I already decide to find this angle. So the two sides I have to take here is 13 dengan 21.92. And don't forget to sine 64 degree 2 minute, right? Okay, so now let's press all of this inside my calculator. So 4 times 17 times sine 118. Okay, 60.04. That is the area of the atas punya triangle. 0.4, 60.04. And then the other one, 1 divide 2 times 13 times 21.92 times sine 64 degree 2 minute. Okay, my calculator give me 128.096. So I think it's 128.10. And then use the answer button plus 60.04. Okay, my calculator give me 188.136. So 188.14 lah. So equals 188.14 cm square, right? Because it's area, so cm square. Okay, so sudah siap. Let's continue with B1. So B1, I think I need to look at the diagram. So sketch triangle P prime, R prime, S prime, which has a different shape in triangle PRS. Okay, let's erase all this because it's very confusing. So this one I will write again, 64 degree 2 minute, right? And then this one I want to erase it. Okay, so now they say P prime, R prime, S prime, I want to sketch, which has a different shape from PRS, such that P prime lies on PR. So P prime is somewhere along this line. And then sine RPS equals to sine angle R prime, P prime, S prime. So this is what we call ambiguous case. Okay, ambiguous case. So when we draw ambiguous case, we have to look at the syarat. So what is the syarat? RPS punya sine angle kena sama dengan R prime, P prime, S prime punya angle. So RPS angle is here, right? So the P prime will be it means the 64 degree 2 minute will be the reference angle of the R prime, P prime, S prime angle. That's what it means, right? So let's think about this. P prime lies on PR. So I think your P prime must be, because your P prime must be here, right? It means your R prime and S prime is still here, but the P already moved. But when it moves, it will move along this line. But where it will move? It will move to the right here. It will move here until where? Until it reaches here, right? It means this is your P prime. And this line should be sama panjang. Okay. Let me tell you why. Because if sama panjang, then only this angle can be 64 degree 2 minute. And then only your angle R prime, P prime, S prime can be 180 minus this. So this is what they mean by sine RPS equals to sine R prime, P prime, S prime. It mean because when you take sine any angle in quadrant 1 and sine any angle in quadrant 2, they will not be the same unless they are the reference angle. The quadrant 2 angle punya reference angle is quadrant 1. That is why I have to make sure my R prime, P prime, S prime is 180 minus RPS. So my RPS is 64 degree 2 minute. And since it's isosceles, this one and this one same, this one will be 180 minus. Then this one means I got fulfilled this condition already. Sine RPS is same with R prime P prime S prime, because this, the reference angle for this is this, right? And even though it's second quadrant, but it's still positive because add sugar to coffee, first quadrant and second quadrant, sign positive, right? Okay, now they say sketch the triangle. So did they give me any answer space to sketch? Okay, they didn't give me. So okay lah, I'll just sketch myself. I just sketch it here. Okay, let's make it smaller. Okay, let's just sketch it here lah. All right, so B question 1, I will just draw it. Okay, I'll just draw it here lah. Okay, so the triangle must look like this. So let's use the straight line. Okay, the first line is like this. Okay, no problem. Okay, make it longer. Okay, and then the second line is like this, right? Okay, like this. You don't have to measure, of course, because you know it's sketch. And then the third line is like this, right? But what happened to this line? It moved until here, right? So now it becomes like an obtuse angle form here already, right? That is why this line have to short, because this is the old triangle. The old triangle is like this. The old triangle, this is the old triangle, right? But why it moved here? Because ambiguous case. So now this triangle will start to slowly become like this, right? Okay, so this is your P prime, this is your R prime, this is your S prime. And then they say number 2, state the size of R prime, P prime, S prime. Okay, let's put in some information here. The 21.92 I cannot write here because 21.92 is the whole panjang. But here I can find, just take 180 because originally the triangle is like, there's still some triangle here, right? So, and here and here sama panjang, and this one is 64 degree 2 minute. So how to find R prime, P prime, S prime? It's very easy actually. Just take 180 minus 64 degree 2 minute. Okay, then you get this angle already. Right? So easy. 180 minus 64 degree 2 minute. What you get? 115 degree. Right? 115 degree 58 minute. Right? So 115 degree 58 minute. Of course, you can also write in decimal. Decimal is 115.96. Can also, right? So that's how you do it lah. So make sure when you sketch, you make this look like a obtuse angle. You make this look like a, how to say, angle yang lebih 90 degree. Because if you draw it like acute angle, then of course it's salah. So that's how you do it. Okay, sudah siap. That's how you get 10 marks. Okay, number 13 I won't do because this is kinematics. So I won't do this, right? And then 14 is index number. Oh, by the way, section C, you only choose 2 questions. Out of solution of triangle, index number and linear programming, you will choose 2. Okay, but of course, I'm doing this video for revision, so I will do 14 and 15. I will do 3. I will do all 3, but out of these 3 in exam, you choose 2 only, right? Okay, number 14, diagram. The table shows information regarding 4 main ingredients for Ayu's Ayam Padu secret recipe. So first thing first is, what is this? A, B, C, D. This is a very important keyword, right? So when you read the question later, if they never mention A, B, C, D, you have to take the average ataupun the composite index, right? So this is very important keyword. And then what is this? The price. So price means the price for 2020, so Q 2020. And then this one will be Q 2021. All right, because it's the price, right? And then this one is price index. Price index, we will use I to write. The symbol for price index is I. So it will be I for what year? 21 based on 20. So 21 atas, 20 bawah. Okay. Always the paling, how to say, the newer year we put atas. And then this one, recipe quantity, I think this is ratio. Okay, I think this is ratio. So if it's ratio means it's weightage. Okay, this is ratio. Okay, now we can do A. Calculate value of x, y, z. Okay, this is quite easy. This is quite easy. So how to find x? X is the I, right? So what is the formula for I? Q1 over Q0 times 100. And for this case, your Q1 will be Q21, which is 9, and then over Q20, which is 6 times 100. And you can quickly press this, you'll get 150. Okay, let's try. Yeah, 150. And then now we find y. How to find y? Okay, if I want to find y is actually the price. So later it will be what? Y over 3 times 100 equals to 160. You cannot take 3 divide y. It has to be y divide 3 because you have to put the price 2021 atas, right? So now how to find your y? 160 divide 100 times 3, you will get 4.80. But had to write Rm. This one had to write Rm because y is price. But then the x no need to write Rm because x the other unit. Right? X is Index ma, index tak ada unit. Okay, lastly, Z, how to find Z? You want to take 8.2 divide Z or Z divide 8.2? Of course, 8.2 divide Z, because the 2021 price have to put atas. And then times 100 equals to 115. Okay, how to find Z? First, you will pindah 100, so 8.2 over Z. 115 divided by 100 is 1.15. So how you find the Z? You will tukar tempat. Because the Z you pindah atas jadi darab, and then the 1.15 come down, become divide. So it will be 8.2 divided 1.15. You will get, press calculator, 7.13. But don't forget to write RM. Alright. So RM 7.13 here. Okay. I think I have to write down the X150 here because I'm sure I'll be using this information later. Okay. So this is how you get 3 marks for A. Okay. For B question, let's read. Calculate the composite index. Let's make this B. Okay. So B says calculate the composite index for the cost of making ayam padu in the year 2021 based on 2020. Means I'm finding the I dash for 2021 or 2020, right? But if I want to find this, I have to make sure I have, okay, is there any space here? Okay, I think I'll just use this space lah. I think I'll just use this space here. So the I dash for 2120, but the formula for this is what? The formula for composite index is the sum of I times W divided by sum of W, right? But you have to make sure you have your I and your W. So do you have your I and W? Yes, I and W have already in the table. And the I is also for the same year, 2120. So the year already matched. It means you can use this I. So the formula will be what? 114 times 300 and so on. But if the year doesn't match here, you cannot use. So the year have to match. Okay, so 114 times 300 plus 150 times 120 plus 160 times 80 plus 115 times 500. Divide by total weightage, 300 plus 120 plus 80 plus 500. And then you can kira bawah dulu. So 300 plus 120 plus 80 plus 500. Okay, my calculator give me 1000. And then atas tekan 114 times 300 plus 150 times 120 plus 160 times 80 plus 115 times 500. Okay, my calculator give me 887.14. And then when you divide 1000, you will get, oh, why is it like that? Okay, let me press again. 114 times 300 plus 150 times 120 plus 160 times 80 plus 115 times 500. Okay, maybe I pressed wrong just now. This one is 1125. Sorry, 1225. 1225.00. Okay, that's what my computer tell me. So what happened when you divide 1000? 122.5. So yeah, this is the I dash. And you don't have to write unit because this is index. Okay, now for soalan C. So soalan C, kita baca soalan dulu. Ayu suggested to create ayam padu secret recipe that is crunchier and spicier. Every quantity of the main ingredient is the same quantity. Calculate the corresponding cost of its price index, hence compare the composite index obtained. So what does it mean by every quantity of the main ingredient is the same quantity? This one is what? Recipe quantity in gram, right? And then they say what? Every quantity is the same, right? So now my weightage will be what? Instead of 300 gram, 120 gram, 80 gram, 500 gram, what will be my weightage? What will be my ratio? It will be 1, 1, 1, 1. Because they say every quantity is the same quantity, means the ratio is 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay? Or you can also say 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%. And the total will be 100%. Can also, can also. It means you can write any number you want. It doesn't necessarily have to be 1. It can be 25, 25, 25, 25. But if you write 25, then later your total weightage will be 100 lah. But if you write 1, then your total weightage will be 4. Because 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. Or you can put any number you want. Any number, any number. You can put 200 also can. But if 200, 200, 200, then your total weightage will be 800. Okay? Just make sure you put the same number for all because that's what it means. All right. So now you can calculate the I dash ataupun the composite index. Okay, where to write this? Okay, I think I'll write here. So for C, I'll write here. So I dash, but it's also for the same year, 2120, right? But this time, I will use the same I like just now. I will use the same I. It's just that my weightage now, it will change a little bit because my weightage now will be same quantity. Means the ratio, everything same, So it'll be 114 times 1. 114 times 1. And then plus with, okay, I just refer here better, right? And then 150 times 1, right? And then this one is 160 times 1. And then this one is 115 times 1. And then divide with 4 because the total weightage is 4. But if you put 100, 100, 100, 100, then here you write 400, right? So it's up to you. You can choose any number, right? So let's press 114 plus 150 plus 5 and then divide 4. Okay, my calculator give me 134.75. Hey, did that do it correctly? Let's press again. 114 plus 150 plus 160 plus 115. Hey, why is it different with the schema? 114, 150, 160, 115. Okay, the schema give me different. What's wrong here? Okay, wait for me. Okay, the schema salah or saya salah? Okay, I think the schema salah. Yeah, I think the schema salah because the schema says 134.50. Yeah, the schema wrong. So this one is 134.75. Right? So this is the new composite index. But then they say calculate corresponding cost of price index. Hence compare. So they want me to compare. So obviously I need to write down who's higher, who's lower, right? Because if compare means I have to write down, right? So how do we write this? How do we compare? So we have to write dot 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 the composite index, the composite index, the composite index for what? The composite index with every quantity with same quantity with same quantity for every main ingredient ataupun for each main ingredient is higher or lower? Is higher. Okay, ataupun is bigger. Because this is the composite index when you take same quantity for each main ingredient, right? So it's higher lah. Because the old one is 1 to 2.5, right? So when I take weightage all same, the composite index is higher. So whenever they say compare, you must write separate bigger, separate smaller. Okay, now we can do part D. Okay, let's scroll up a bit. Okay, let's do it. If the price of all main ingredient increase 20% on the year 2023. Okay, if they say all, it means we are talking about the composite index, right? But this one is to the year 2023. So my new year is 23, but my old year now will be 21. Because this one is 20 to 21. Now it's 21 to 23. So this one will be 23 or 21. And since it says all ingredient, it means we are not just talking about A, B, C, D. It's all. So the average of it will be, the composite index will be 120 because increase 20%. And then comma, calculate the cost price of making year on 2023. Means I'm finding the Q. Okay, cost price means Q. Q for what? 23. So this is what I'm finding. Of the corresponding cost price on, this one if, I think this one if. So on the year 20, if corresponding price on the year 2021 is 40, so Q for 2021 is 40 ringgit. Okay, how do we do this question? Remember, if the soalan wants you to find price, wants you to find Q, confirm you will use the first formula. Confirm. Okay, confirm you use the first formula. The first formula is like this: Q1 over Q0 times 100. Why you will use the first formula? Because only the first formula can use to find price. All the other formula you cannot use to find price. So definitely you'll be use the first formula. But in this case, what will be your Q1, Q0? Obviously, it will be the Q23, and then the Q0 will be Q21 because you always put the newer year atas, right? It means the I here I have to put what? 23 over 21 punya I also lah, because so that it match with this, right? But the I 2021 you will not put I, you will put composite index because this question they never mention A, B, C or D. It's just talking about the cost price of making ayam recipe. So it means you will take the composite index, and it's not the composite index for the 21-20 punya. It's the 23-21 punya price index, which is 120. It means this one you will write what? 120 equals to Q23 over Q21, which is 40 times 100 like this. All right. So remember, if the soalan never mentioned the keyword, you will take the composite index. But this case, you don't go and take the 21-20 punya composite, you will take 23-21. Because I'm finding the price for 23 if 21 is 40. So obviously the year have to match as well. So how to find Q23? You take 120 divide 100 times 40. So what is 1.2 times 40? 48. And don't forget to write RM, please, because this is price of the recipe, right? So yeah, that's how you do it. Okay, so that's it. Okay, now we are at the last question. So this is number 15. Okay, I think this is linear programming. I need graph paper also. And then this state paper, I don't know why they never provide graph paper. So I will need to pinjam another set punya graph paper also. Okay, tak apa, kita baca soalan dulu. An electrical shop ABC supplies two different types of light bulbs. Okay, the cost of an energy efficient LED bulb and a halogen bulb is 8 ringgit and 5 ringgit respectively. Okay, now we read the whole thing first. We don't do it first. We just read the whole thing. The number of energy efficient LED bulbs supplied must be at least, so bigger sama dengan twice the number of the halogen. And then the shop was only able to provide the capital. Capital means smaller sama dengan 5,600. The shop sells energy efficient LED bulbs and halogen at the price of 12 and 9. And a set of total sales not less than means bigger sama dengan 4,500. Okay, everything seems so complicated, right? Because all the information is like all over the place. But it's okay because you look at the next bar is given that the electrical shop sells X LED energy efficient bulbs and Y halogen bulbs to the hotel. It means now you know what X and Y represent. So now it's very easy already. So LED and halogen, right? Halogen or halogen, I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce, but whatever lah. So LED and halogen. Halogen. So LED is represented. What happened? What happened? Okay. So LED is represents by X, right? The number of bulb. So this one I will put arrow X, Y. So this is the number, right? So now let's try to read again read again from the beginning, right? So now we try to read it for the second time. Okay, supplies two different type of bulb. Ini tak penting. Cost of the bulb is 8 ringgit and 5 ringgit. 8 ringgit for LED. So this is the cost. So let's write cost. So it will be 8x, 5y lah. Because the 8 ringgit is cost for one LED. Okay, so if I have X amount of LED, it will be 8x, and then this will be 5y. And then let's keep reading. Number of LED supplied must be at least twice number of halogen. So number. Kita cerita pasal number of LED. So X lah. At least twice the number of halogen. So at least punya symbol is bigger sama dengan twice halogen. So X bigger sama dengan 2y. Okay, so I'm actually doing A already, because A asks you to write three inequalities. So this is the first one. Okay, let's keep reading. The shop was only able to provide capital money of 5,600. So the total cost must not more than 5,600 because this is like the budget. So it's smaller sama dengan. So instead of taking X plus Y, you have to take 8X plus 5Y. So let's write down here lah. Okay, let's write here. 8X plus 5Y smaller sama dengan. Remember, capital means smaller sama dengan. Okay, can you kecilkan this one? Cannot. Okay, but if can kecilkan, you have to kecilkan. But this one cannot. Let's keep going. The shop sells energy, LED, and halogen at the price of 12 and 9. So this is the selling price. It's different. Just now it's cost. Cost is like the amount you need to make the bulb, but the price is like the selling price. So I should call it selling. I just call it selling lah, okay, to make it short. So what is the selling price of LED? 12 ringgit for one LED. So there's X amount of it, so it's 12X, and then this will be 9Y. And then what is the total sale? Not less than punya symbol is bigger sama dengan. So it will be 12X plus 9Y bigger sama dengan 4500. And we can kecilkan. Everything can divide by 3. Divide by 3 is 4. Divide by 3 is 3Y. Divide by 3 is 1,500. Okay. And then now we finish A. All right. So write three inequalities other than X bigger 0, Y bigger 0. What does this mean? It means X and Y must always be positive lah. Because X and Y is number of bulbs. That's why it has to be positive, right? Because bilangan tak boleh negative. Okay, now do B. Using a scale of 2 cm to 100 on X axis, Y axis, draw the graph of those three inequalities, mark and shade the region R. Okay, before you do this, you need to find some points. You cannot draw graph if you don't have points for these lines. So how do you find points? First of all is you will change all this inequality to equal first, right? Because you want the garisan. You don't want this one later when you sketch, then only when you shade, when you lorek, then only you will look at the inequality. Now you want the coordinate, you will change to equal. So this one you open 2 bracket, and then the other one will be 8x plus 5y equals 5600. You will open 2 bracket. You need at least 2 points, and then the last one is 4x plus 3y equals 1,500, and you also find 2 points, right? Of course, you want to draw a table, can also. I know some teachers they teach to draw table, right? Can also. Okay, what points I will choose? I will always use x equals 0, y equals 0, x equals 0, y equals 0, x equals 0, y equals 0, because it's the easiest point to plot, right? Okay, what if I ganti x0 here? My y will be 1500 divided 3, 500. If my y0, 1500 divided 4, let's press calculator. 1500 divided 4. Okay, my calculator give me 375, right? So let's write down 375. And then the other one is when x equals 0, what is my y? 5600 divided 5. So let's press. Okay, my calculator give me 1120. So just write it down. 1120. And then what is my y coordinate? 5600 divided 8, which is 700. Right, 700. Okay, the last one, when x equals 0, my y will be 0 also, because 0 divided 2, right? Okay, don't try to put y 0, because if you put y 0, your x will be 0 also. So this one you have to change to another point. So what other suitable point I can choose? Let's look at my other points. We have 700, 500, and they already say 2 cm to 100. And I ask you to hafal already. X-axis mesti guna 8, y-axis guna 10. So 100 here you use until 800, here you use until 1000. So if x equals to 2y, it means my y have to times 2, right? So why not you take y coordinate 400? Because if you take y coordinate 400, 400 times 2, my x will be 800. Then you can plot already, right? Oh, and by the way, there are some points that we cannot plot, right? Which is this one, 0, 1, 1, 2, 0, because we only have until 1000. So later this one also have to erase and change to another point. But it's okay, let's do it later. Now we go to our graph and draw our axis first. This is 2 cm to 100. Okay, let's go to the graph. Okay, let's use this. Okay, ignore this. Ignore this, right? So what you do, okay, let's go to the origin. Okay, this is my origin. So it will be 0, sini guna 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ayo, why so small, this graph paper? Do I have another 1, 2, 3, 4? Okay, why all graph paper like that? Because the standard one must have 8 one. Okay, but okay lah, let's put the 0 here lah then. Because the standard size for the graph paper mesti ada boleh sampai 8. Okay, okay, but it's okay. Let's just do it here. So 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800. So make sure you hafal. For linear programming, we always use 8 kotak in x-axis and then 10 kotak in y-axis. So here you will go until 1000. So 100 is here, and then 200, and then 300, and then 400, and then 500, and then 600, and then 700, and then 800, and then 900, and then 1000. And then don't forget to write y-axis here. So this is my y, right? Okay, now it's time to plot. Okay, let's make this bigger a bit. Okay, nice. All right, now we go back to the point. Okay, what is my first point? 0, 0, 800, 400. So let's go 0, 0, 800, 400. So 0, 0 is here. Oops. 0, 0 is here. 800, 400 is here, right? So now you will use your pembaris panjang and you will draw a line. So this is your line. Okay, let's make it nice. Okay, okay, what's the equation? X equals to y. Yeah, so that's the equation. So let's go back there. Okay, so that's it. Second line, 0, 1, 1, 2, 0. Okay, this one you will change to another point because you cannot plot. Okay, actually you can plot lah. If you're using this graph paper, you can plot, right? But I want to show students how to change to another point if the point is like memang tak boleh lukis, right? Or maybe sometimes you might get negative. If negative point, you cannot plot also. So I want to show students what to do if the point is like this. So what you do is you will go back to the equation and then you will try to think about what value to sub inside. But first make the x single first. So make the x single, it will be 5600 plus 5y become minus 5y and then divide by 8. And then you try to figure out what y value I can put here. Since my y got 1900, 800, 700, so a lot of choice here. So I can put any number and just put it in and try see whether I get, and just try with any value lah. Okay, okay, let's try with 1000. What is here? I put 1000. What is 1000 times 5? 5000. And then you take 5600 minus 5000 divide 8. Okay, I get 75, right? So can we plot this point 75? Is it easy to plot or is it hard to plot? 75. Let's go back to the graph and think about this. 75 is very hard to plot, right? Because it's like 2.5, right? Because like it's like, yeah, 75 is very hard to plot. So why not we don't use this point, right? It's actually better to choose a point that is easy to plot, right? So let's not put 1000. If don't put 1000, what you can put? Maybe try with 900 or 800. Okay, let's try with 800 here. What happens if you put 800? 5 times 800, 4,000, and then 5600 minus answer, and then divide 8. Okay, I get 200. So I actually end up with a decent value here, 200, 800. So it's actually, yeah, let's just go with this, right? 200, 800. But of course, you can choose any other point you want also. You can choose any point you want. Just make sure it's like, the point is like not too, how to say? It's like within the scale lah, so that you can plot it. All right. If it's outside the scale, then you can't plot it. So 200, 800, 700, 0. 200, 800, 700, 0. 200, 800, 700, 0. 200, 800, 200, 800. Oops. 200, 800, 700, 0. Right. So this is the points. So now you use your pembaris and then you lukis, right? So this should be the line, right? Okay, don't forget to label the equation. Yeah, write down the equation. What's the equation? I forgot. 8x 5y 56. So 8x, let's write atas, 8x plus 5y equals to 5600. All right. Okay, time to draw the third line. 0 500 3750, 0 500 0 500. I think it's here. And then I believe it's 3750. Where is 375, by the way? This is 300. This is 350. So 375 is like hard to plot also, right? So can we fix it? Actually, can also lah. If you malas want to find another point, you can straight away fix it also. But I want to make it. I want student to learn how to change the points, right? So how do we change it if you don't want this point? So let's go back to the equation. 4x plus 3y equals 1500, and make the x single. It means 1500 have to minus 3y and then divide 4, right? So how do you do this? Okay, let's think. So we have to think about any y value that I can put here. Of course, we cannot put 1000, because if 1000 here, this would be 3000. 1000 minus 3000 will be negative, so don't put 1000. What about, let's decrease it a bit. What about 700? Cannot also, because 700 times 3 is 2000, and then 1000 minus 2000 is negative. Then what about 600? Cannot. 500, 500 already used, so cannot. Why not you use 100? Just see what happens. So 1500 minus 300 and then divide 4. Oh, I get a very good value. I get 300. So this is a good point, right? It's 300. My x is 300 and my y is 100, which is better than the point I choose in the beginning, right? So 0, 500, 300, 100, 0, 500, 300, 100, 0, 500, 300, 100, 0, 500, 300, 100. So yeah, 0, 500, 300, 100. Okay, so now you can join using ruler, and then you will get a line like this that will look like this, right? So make sure this one touch the point. Okay, I think it's good enough. Write the equation also. What's the equation? I forgot. 4x plus 3y equals 1500. So let's write here. 4x plus 3y equals 1500. Make sure you have to write the equation, must write. Make sure you write also in the exam. Okay. Okay, after you sampai sini, now you can shade. When you shade, you will lorate. Lorate means you look at the inequality symbol. So let me erase all this first. This one is like the working just now. So I'll erase this, erase this. Okay, let's look at the inequality symbol for the first line. If you look at this is bigger, right? But actually, you have to tengok dari y. And your y have to be positive. So this is not bigger actually. This is smaller. Because you have to make sure y positive and then tengok dari y. So this one is bigger. Is smaller. Because if you tengok dari sini, right? If you tengok dari sini, is bigger, but you have to tengok dari y positive. So this one is smaller. But which line smaller? The x to y line. So the x to y line have to smaller. So where is the x to y line? The x to y line is here. So smaller means it's your r must below this line. That's what it means, right? And then what's next? What's next? Next is 8x plus 5y 5600. Make sure you tengok dari y. Okay, your y sudah positive. So tengok dari y, apa symbol? Smaller, right? But which line smaller? The 8x 5y line have to smaller. So where is the 8x 5y line? This one, right? So this line smaller means your r has to be down here, down here, down here. So definitely I have to erase this r, right? Then what about here? Here also, okay, no need already this one, because just now the first line already said first line have to be smaller. So it's either it's only these two left, right? So and okay, this line have to smaller, so it's either here, here, or here. And then now it says this line have to smaller again. That is why it's left with these two only. Okay, faham faham why cannot here and here. Here and here cannot because the x equals to 1 just now say smaller. Okay. Okay, now for my last one. Last one, okay, is my y positive? Yes. And then tengok dari y is bigger. But which line? The 4x 3y line. That's why you have to write the equation. If you don't write the equation, imagine how hard it is to know which line, right? So bigger means here and here, right? But we know it's not up there already. Okay, it's only these two possible left, so the R must be here. So this is your shaded region. So you will shade using ruler, okay, and then try to make it like parallel. And don't forget, you cannot sketch bawah sini, because cannot negative one, all right? Your x have to be always bigger than 0, and your y also have to be always bigger than 0. That's why you sketch like this, all right? Okay, let me erase this. Okay, I'm done. Now we can do the next part. So this is how you get 3 marks for the graph part. So mark and shade the region R. Sudah sah, 3 marks. Okay, finally, my part C says what? This is the last part of the question. Okay, let's do it here. So this is my C1. Okay, they say find the maximum number of LED. LED is X. So I'm finding my X maximum. Okay, that is why it's very useful to write this, right? So because you might confuse separate X, separate Y, right? That's why I write. So find the maximum number of LED bulbs that may be sold. So they usually when they want me to find X, they must give me Y. Ataupun if they want me to find Y, they must give me X, right? But this one they just want me to find X. They never give me Y. It means your Y tak bagi lah. So if your Y tak bagi, what you do is you will just tengok your shaded region paling what they want, X, right? Paling atas. If X maximum, sorry, paling kanan. Because this, okay, let me explain. Because this is X axis, this is Y axis, right? So if they want to find value of X maximum when Y equals 20, right? And let's say your shaded region is here, right? Is here. So what you do is you go to Y axis, cari 20, and then you tarik until, because maximum, so you have to tarik until the final contact point, tarik bawah, that will be the answer, right? But what if they never give me Y value? They just say X maximum. Then you will not tarik any dotted line. You will straight away go to your shaded region, paling kanan punya point. If they want X maximum, and then tarik bawah X axis, right? If they want X minimum, paling kiri punya point tarik. But if they want Y minimum, then you tengok atas bawah. Y minimum means paling bawah, but you don't go and baca to X axis, you baca to Y. It means you will tarik to here. This one will be a Y minimum, and then this one will be a Y maximum. That's what it means. So this one they want X maximum. So let's go to the graph. So they never give me any Y value. They just say X maximum. So you immediately look at the shaded region paling kanan punya point, which is this. But some of you might tell me the answer is 0, but no. You have to baca to X axis, not the Y axis. So you have to baca the X coordinate, which is 700. So the answer is 700, right? So let's go back there and write X maximum is 700. So this is the question for, this is the answer for C1, right? So boleh faham, Okay, next part, what they want. Next part, they say find the minimum amount of profit that could be earned if 200 halogen bulbs are sold. Okay, this one is different because they want me to find amount of profit, but they say 200 halogen was sold. Halogen is Y. So it means I'll write when Y equals 200. So if they give me Y 200, what we can find? We can find the X, right? But look at the word minimum or maximum. Minimum amount of profit. Okay, they never say minimum amount of LED bulb. But guess what? If you want to find minimum amount of profit, you will use this formula. 12x plus 9y. But you need the x and y. You already know the y is 200. You need the x. And the x has to be minimum, right? Because the keyword here already mentioned. So how to find x minimum? Go to your graph. Cari y equals 200. And then tarik satu line. So y equals 200 is here. And then you will tarik satu line. But they say minimum. Minimum means you will tarik until where? You tarik until the first contact point with the shaded region, which is here, and then tarik bawah. Because this is the shaded region, right? So the first contact point with the shaded region, that's when you tarik bawah. But wait, what if I want maximum? Then I'll keep going until here. Then only I tarik. Because maximum means you have to go until the last contact point with shaded region. So I want minimum, that's why the answer is 400. So 400 will be my X, right? 400 will be my X, right? It means 400 LED bulb, because X is LED, and then halogen bulb is 200. But they want the profit. Yeah, they want the profit. So the profit here is right. Okay, profit formula, you actually write down everything here already. That's why this thing is very useful. right? I know a lot of students don't write this when they do it, right? But in my class, I always say, please write this, right? Even though tak ada markah, but it's very useful, right? And it can save you a lot of time, right? Because if you don't write this, you have to read back and see which one is X, which one is Y. So tak bagus, right? So what is the profit? 12x plus 9y, and the X and Y you can ganti with what? The X and Y you ganti with the X minimum 400 and the Y minimum also 200, right? Make sure you don't terbalik, you terbalik also wrong. So let's press, see what you get. Okay, I get 6,600. Hey, wait, I do this correctly. Y equals 200. Why the schema not same again? Okay, let's think about this. So they want to find what? Minimum amount of profit, right? Profit, Profit means, oh, okay. I see what you did there. Okay, this question, I faham now. Okay, all right. Actually, the profit is not 12x plus 9y, guys. Because, selling price, like for example, if I sell an item for 12 ringgit, right? Does that mean my profit is 12 ringgit? Actually, no. Because I need to spend some money to make that product. So my profit is actually my profit will be the selling price minus with the cost. So if my profit is 12 ringgit, okay, no, sorry, not profit. My selling price is 12 ringgit and the cost to make the product is 8 ringgit. What will be my profit? My profit will be 12 minus 8, which is 4x. And then the profit here also will be 9 ringgit minus 5 ringgit, which is 4y. Do you understand? Because when you sell, like for example, if I teach tuition, okay, I don't know. This example is not good. Like for example, if I sell mee curry, and I spell for RM 8 ringgit for my mee curry, okay, the selling price. Does that mean I earn 8 ringgit? I untung 8 ringgit? No, right? Because I need to buy ingredient for the mee, for the curry, for the powder and everything, right? So the cost I spend to buy those ingredient, that cost is that money is called the cost. But 8 ringgit is the selling price, but the profit, the untung sebenar, is actually the selling price minus with the cost. That is why 12 minus 8 is 4 ringgit profit, and then 9 minus 5 is 4 ringgit. That's why your profit is 4x plus 4y. So it's actually 4 times x plus 4 times y, which is 400, because x is 400, x minimum is 400, and then y minimum is 200. Like this only, then only is correct. Okay, so let's press calculator and then see what I get. Okay, RM 2,400. Okay, the end. Bye bye. See you next video.